Danfo offers unparalleled, curated and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
Peace, family. We're alive again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Who. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I am back in Atlanta. Had a great time in Senegal for the St. Louis Jazz Festival. Had a great time. You know, ate the best food in Africa every day. Day. Not every day, but day. I mean, it was, overall, it was a good time. So, we'll be going back again in May, next May. So if you're interested in joining us, visit Danfo Africa. I'll have the we should have the dates for next year here soon. And once I get those dates, I'll update the site and you guys could go and check us out and visit. We'll love to host you on one of our many excursions. So in August, we are going to Nigeria for the Oshun Festival. September, we're doing Zanzibar. End of September, we're doing Kenya. In November, we're doing Ghana and Ivory Coast, along with Sierra Leone. And then in January, we're doing the Voodoo Festival in Benin Republic. So if you're interested in joining, please visit Danfo, that's DANFO .Africa to learn more. And for those who don't know the site, who've never been, oops, wrong link. And I'll turn the camera on tomorrow. I got in yesterday around 3 p.m. Told myself that I was going to take a nap, laid down, woke up. It was 11:30 p.m. I mean, it was 11:30 at night. And it was kind of hard for me to go back to sleep, but I ended up going back to sleep and waking back up around 7 a.m. And I've just been, here in the house. I've just been here around the house, doing some work, catching up, sending emails, making phone calls, all that good stuff. You know how it is when you're gone and you gotta catch up. So that's primarily what I've been doing. I ain't complaining though. I ain't mad. Well, guys, here's the link or the website. Make sure you subscribe to the newsletter so you guys can stay updated on, what we got going on over at Danfo. Today, what we're talking about today, Sonko, Faye, that, his boy that he put on. Well, Anyway, Faye, the current president of Senegal, pushed Sonko, his ally, out of office. He was fired for the most part. And it was done Friday night while I was at the airport in Senegal heading back to America, making my trek back to America. Flew back on Air France. So went from Dakar to Paris. And if you have to lay over in Europe, I would say Paris and Heathrow. So Charles de Gaulle and Heathrow are the two airports if you have to lay over in Europe. Those are two airports that I've been to that are the most transit friendly. Again, those are the two airports that are, for the most part, the most transit friendly. If you got a layover, then from Paris, flew to Atlanta on Delta. Now, guys, this kind of off topic a little bit, but what I'm noticing about Delta for these international flights, they're giving you smaller planes. So usually, how the planes are, it's 3-4-3. So it's three rows, like three. How can I put it? The middle seats they're in fours, and then the aisle seats they're in three. So it's usually 3-4-3. Now it's 2-3-2. So you're getting smaller planes on these Delta airline flights internationally, and then the bathrooms are little as hell. They're even smaller. Yeah, you're right. Sonko does have a different idea um, from Faye on far as how to react to the debt issues. From my understanding, Sonko wants to use more of the Arab countries. Faye is getting money from the IMF, or they owe the IMF a lot of money, so they're dealing with that in regards to paying that back, and they just have different ideologies. But if you guys don't know the story of Sonko and Faye, Sonko was locked up and was accused of some stuff. Um, in which he was disqualified for running for president. So instead, his party, or their party, the current president as well, they decided to allow Faye to run, and he ended up winning. And so this is supposed to be the Batman and Robin, and the dynamic duo, but they've had some ideology differences once Faye got into office, and I guess Faye is more dealing with the reality. Well, the reality is they owe the IMF, and they're in debt, and so instead of this, anti-West, anti-French, kick the French out and be anti-West, Faye's like, no, we got to work with them. And Sonko is like, no, absolutely not. He's anti-West, anti-IMF, to the point you would think that Senegal was going to join the AES. But it just seems like Faye changed positions, and Sonko was like, hell no. So they've been clashing, you know, since he took office. And finally, Faye fired him. But I know a lot of people are surprised. But in Senegal, they from what I've been told, I was just in Senegal, just got back yesterday. My people in Senegal, they were like, this was gonna happen. Like they were expecting it. It wasn't if, it was when. But again, the people outside of Senegal, they're shocked and surprised. But the people in Senegal are like, yeah, this was bound to happen. And it happened. So where does Senegal go from here? But what's interesting, is that Sonko could actually run for president in 2029. So that's 3 years away. So that's going to be interesting how that plays out. So I guess Faye passed some ordinance or allowed something that will allow Sonko to run for office. So that's interesting. So I guess the idea was that Sonko was going to pretty much be running Senegal via Faye, and that's just not how it's been working out or playing out. So it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. And see how this plays out. But yeah, so that's what's going on. But again, people on the ground in Senegal were like they're not surprised at all. They said they knew it was going to happen, but of course, the people who are outside of Senegal are shocked. So yeah, I'll put the link in the chat room shortly, and you guys are more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation and give me your thoughts on what's going on in Senegal.
Senegal's President Bassirou Faye has fired Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko. It comes after months of simmering tensions. So perhaps more on this, we're actually going to get the latest now developments in Senegal. Speaking to SABC News specialist correspondent Sophie Mukwena. Sophie, good morning. I mean, if we're looking at the significance of what has transpired, talk to us a little bit more about that. We saw them singing from the same hymn sheet at some point. What could have caused this breakdown in relationship and ultimately this fallout between the two leaders?
Well, this fallout started months ago when the two leaders couldn't share the same vision in terms of what needs to happen to cut expenditure in that country, but also in relation to the economic policy of that country. The current president, Faye, is more lenient to the French support and also believe that they can still play a role in assisting that country. While you had the prime minister who was very radical, who believes in a total shackling of the influence of France in particular. And therefore this led to tension. And we know that this was bound to happen because you would recall that the prime minister was the most popular person in Senegal during elections in 2024. But unfortunately, the then government of President Macky Sall pushed, and he was finally jailed, and therefore that prohibited him from being the president of the country. And there was a view that he was being persecuted because there was fear that he will win elections. And of course, after elections, after he agreed that his people, his party must support the current president and that he be the president, Faye, even though he was not as popular as he was, there was an agreement that he will be released from jail, and indeed he was, and later there was a push to amend the section of the constitution to allow him to contest elections in 2029. But there was dragging of feet by the current president, and therefore there was that kind of tension because you had the popular candidate handing power to someone who wasn't that popular, and therefore that tension played itself. And of course, allegations of external influence.
Well, Sophie, I mean, the big question then is, what does this mean politically for the country at large? Reactions from Ousmane Sonko at this point, you alluded to it, he was hugely popular amongst the youth vote. So what does this impact the dynamics?
The impact is massive. You can see that after the announcement last night, young people took to the streets protesting. But secondly, it will have an impact in the region, that is West Africa region. You know that that region has experienced a number of coups in the Sahel belt. But secondly, you know that that country was seen as an example of a mature democracy because since independence, Senegal has never experienced political and security instability. It was one of the anchors of democracy in West Africa. Now, when you have political instability in Senegal, it adds to a number of countries in that region that are not stable, including those who left ECOWAS, that is Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, now Guinea, Bissau also after the coup. And now you have this situation in Senegal. I'm sure Senegal still being a strong member of ECOWAS, this should be a concern for ECOWAS as a regional organization because you can't afford another country descending into chaos. And therefore, it will be interesting to see what's going to happen. But don't rule out partnering of the current president and the former president, Macky Sall, to try and deal with Sonko. And that will lead to heightened.
All right, go ahead, Elvis.
All right. Thank you, Dennis, and welcome back. Look, like what the lady was just saying at the end of her statement there is a smart analysis because you've been to Senegal. I've never been, but you've been multiple times. And I think you said that's one of your favorite countries to visit. And it's been like that with Senegal developing, having a peaceful country, a nice, nice democracy in that region. And they've been doing all of that with with while cooperating with France. And they see things to be stable, in their country. So if you have a guy like Sonko who allegedly raped somebody in a massage parlor, I don't know what he was massage parlor.
Allegedly. I mean, he
Yeah, that's
was
what I say,
yeah,
allegedly.
allegedly. Yeah.
And eventually, when people said that was a false accusation, the lady came out and accused him. But afterwards, the president at the time, Macky Sall, said that there was, he was going to be held in jail because he was, pretty much inciting riots from young people, and he was a threat to the national security of the country. So pretty much, he was disqualified from running. So you have Faye, who, of course, Sonko said Faye is Sonko, Faye equals Sonko or something like to that nature. And a lot of people voted for Faye, and he won, and he became head of state. He's the executive of the country. He's not a puppet. You can't take him to be a puppet. Yes, your support was instrumental in getting him supported, getting supported and elected. But he's the head of state, so you work at his pleasure because you're the prime minister. You're appointed. You're not elected. So you can't go in and dictate policies to him. He has his own mind. He may be in the same political party as you and maybe have similar political ideologies. But once a president gets into the presidency and he realizes the the liabilities of the government, especially when it comes to debt, he has to make strategic decisions from his advisors, his economic advisors, and so on, and really look at what's best for the country. So if Sanko wanted to make certain decisions, it is if it goes wrong, the president, head of state, would be blamed for it. So trying to get away from France, trying to take this extra radical approach and dealing with these Arab countries. We already see what they're doing in Sudan and even in West Africa, supporting these jihadist groups. So the president make the decision. You know your place as a prime minister who's working at his pleasure, and you don't try to challenge him because you didn't put yourself in a position to run for the presidency. He did. You got yourself caught up in legal matters, whether rightfully or wrongly. But he won the elections. You have to respect him. So for me, I just hope that Faye actually comes out on top on this matter, because I don't know if the people in Senegal are cramming for a revolution like what we saw in Niger, Burkina Faso, and other places. I think they're pretty stable. They like their country. They think their country is well ran. Besides that little hiccup with Macky Sall not wanting to leave power, Senegal has been a well ran country. Now they have some issue with debt. Maybe Faye can, strategize and maybe bring that debt down and maybe grow the economy a little bit. But just cutting off, your ties with a Western country that's helped you grow and build your country up to this level, I think it's foolhardy. And maybe, sanity will come in the next election. Maybe the people would pick the president they feel like is best, ready to lead them. But I'll pass the mic to Dynasty.
Now go ahead, CD.
Hey, Danny, this is Harris. That's everybody.
What's up, man?
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's I'm not surprised at all. I knew this was going to come. Especially when there was assisting to Sanko, they call Aminata Toure, and she was a strong person in a political party, and Diomaye Faye went and fire her and put his own representative in that position. So there where the tension started. That's almost like 2 years ago. But they both belong to the same political party. Even though Sanko is the chairman of the party, but Diomaye Faye is the stand-up bearer for the party because of what happened when he went to prison. A lot of time, Prime Minister is the one that carry on the daily activity of the government. He fund his government, all of that. So Prime Minister is the one that responsible to run the daily affair of the government. All the ministries report to the Prime Minister. But again, no matter what, Diomaye Faye is the president. And for Sanko to come out and criticize the justice system, that because they have some of the Macky Sall government officials that were arrested for corruptions. And then the Justice Ministry went and investigated most of these guys and found out that they were not involved in corruption. So he, as a prime minister, came out and criticized the administration for not locking these people up. And this is his own government. This is his own justice ministry that report directly to the prime minister, right? So there was a lot of tension, and this going to bring a serious crisis in Senegal. Even if there's a next election, they both belong to the same political party. Sonko is the chairman. This guy is the Bassirou, who is the president of the country. So I don't know how they're going to face that. This is why they always say that if you want to elect someone in presidency in Africa, don't depend on population. When people begin to come into power because of their popularity and radical popularity, that we don't want it West, and they come into power and they find out the realities. This is what happened, right? Tax collectors in Africa don't have that much experience. All they do is to pass from stores to store, from Lebanese store to another store, collect money. Most of them don't even have computers in their office. These two guys don't have no experience. Senegal is not a country like Guinea or Liberia where we have resources, right? And most of them were depending on fishing, but now the Chinese almost taking care of all the fishing in the sea. That's why you see Senegalese fleeing in Senegal. So this is going to bring a serious instability in Senegal, right? They have gone through a lot of political trauma before, especially during Wade. When Wade came to power, he wanted his son to be president, right? And then he failed, and Macky Sall came. Macky Sall wanted his vice president to be president. So this is going to bring a big division. I don't know if Sonko going to stay around. He's probably going to arrest him and put in jail. That's going to happen. I see that coming very soon because I saw him in the street of yesterday in Dakar, and rising up the populations in his support. But they're going to put some scandal in him and throw him in jail. We see this everywhere in West Africa, whether it was in Liberia between Samuel Doe and Thomas Kiyompa, whether it was between Lassana Conte and the late the former vice president of Conte.
Gone Koulibaly.
No, not Gonkulu, but that Guinea, Lassana Conte and this guy,
You're
Fascino
talking
Toure.
about Ouattara. Is it Ouattara and Soto, Guillermo Soro? Or what are you talking about?
Yeah, the same thing happened with Ouattara Jemu Soro, because Soro was head of parliament. John Soro was a head of parliament. But when people become a prime minister or head of parliament, they think their dream is to become president, right? So instead of him being patient with Ouattara, he started rushing it. Ouattara was trying to chase him out until he fled the country, right? And the other guy that he put there, Adama Bitogo, the same thing again, started on Ousmane Ouattara. And now he's missing. Nobody know where he is. And with the example of Guinea again, Lassana Conte and Fascine Toure, when Fascine Toure was the vice president in Guinea, he did the same thing. And Lassana Conte killed him. So this is a serious problem, especially both of these guys have no strong financial experience, they have no military experience, and Senegalese took risks and gave and hand the country over to these two inexperienced guys, and the country going to be in serious trouble. Because Senegal don't have that much resources. They depend on taxing individual citizens, right? So they cannot go without Europe. They cannot go without France. Because that's why a lot of French people, when they retire, they live in Senegal. There are certain cities in Senegal, when you go there, see the French people, right? And they don't have that much resources. How they going to run the country? First, what they did was they were using Japanese cars, and they replaced all the Japanese cars with German cars. Very, very expensive. So they started wasting the resources to a certain level, and now the whole thing is have carried them into their neck. There's no way that they can escape it. They're trying to tax ordinary Senegalese, and people not happy at all, right? So the lady that he fired, Aminata Toure, when he fired the assistant of Sonko, they were the whole thing started, right? And I don't see how Senegal going to recover from this. It's going to be a real disaster. Both of them belong to the same party, and they fight among them. The other guy is the chairman of the party, while the other guy is the stand-up bearer in the party as president. How they going to face this? So I'll end it for now, but it's a serious crisis.
All right, go ahead, say James.
Hi, Dennis. Thanks for having me. I thought you were going to extend your stay in Senegal to watch the situation unfold, man. What happened?
No, like I was planning on leaving last Friday, and like while I was at the airport, that's when people started talking about it. So because it happened last Friday on Friday night. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Are the Senegalese gonna call in today? So we need some Senegalese in here, man.
Oh,
It's, but let me hit the topic, man. For those people who don't understand Senegal, who are new to this, it's not new to us. We Francophones, Africans, we know exactly what's going on in Senegal. If you look at the history, this has always happened in Senegal. From Senghor, the first president, and their prime minister happened. If you move down to Abdou Diouf and his prime minister happened, you move down to the Abdullah Wade and his prime minister happened, And when I saw those two guys took a meeting with the former president, right, Macky Sall, all of us knew the fix was in. We knew that something was about to happen between the two. And I told some of my Senegalese friends, I don't see these two guys finishing the first term together. I told them that, and I was fine to be right. So listen. So someone was talking about the program, right? When you run on a program, Africans are not idiot anymore, right? When you run on a program, and the youth of Senegal, right, they wanted something, and they saw that your party was going to be able to be the one that will deliver for them. You run on a program and then you win, right? And the way by which they win, it was spectacular. Coming out of jail, and running against the establishment and winning was something. So that means Senegalese have made a statement that they don't want the status quo. They want to turn the page, right? That's the program these two agreed. So now you get the power, right? You become the president, and this guy become the prime minister. And in the middle of running the program that you were voting on, you want to pivot. Once you pivot, then it becomes a problem. Sonko, we all know Sonko. We know where Sonko stand. We didn't know Diomaye like that, right? So we're like, okay, what's going on? First of all, let me tell you about what happened. Sonko didn't agree with the fact that Macky left the country. Sonko didn't agree. He said, no, a lot of people have died. During the process of democracy, a lot of people have died in Senegal. And why are we letting this guy leave? So Faye was acting really very suspicious. Like, okay, I don't like what. So Sonko is asking questions like, why are you letting these people leave? You can go back and watch how many people died in Senegal. All these people are talking about that democracy has been peaceful in Senegal. That's a lie. Over 100 people got killed by soldiers, by the military and police officers in Senegal. Over 100 people. Businesses have been looted, right? So this is not a peaceful democracy in Senegal. I don't know why people keep referring. Even if you go back before that, even when Macky Sall was trying to become president, you can go back and watch. It's always been that way in Senegal. Civil unrest, business being looted, people being killed left and right. It's been happening. But somehow, some way, they still manage to turn over power to the next, which is something that we can respect, right? But it hasn't been peaceful. Let's be honest about it. And second of all, right, when Diomaye Faye is making certain decisions without understanding exactly what is at play. So you don't want to act on a program that got you elected, but you want other people to respect your decision. How's that going to work? So what CD was alluding to, so you don't like the fact that Sonko has his people in government, right? And you want to place your own people. What Diomaye Faye was doing, he was already linking up with these people, this former minister or whatever that was power of the other party that got defeated, right? He was already surrounding himself with these people because he knew he wasn't going to be able to stand Sonko. He knew Sonko. So he was already surrounding himself with people who are now loyalists to Sonko. And he was allowing these people to go after Sonko, disrespecting him publicly. So you can't let that happen. This guy, we can say he made you, but he somehow paved the way. Before the election in Senegal, who knew Diomaye? I want everybody on this panel to tell me, do you know Diomaye? No one know him besides the Senegalese. We know of him, but we didn't know him. So Sonko was the one that brought the fight to the people. Sonko was the one that was known by everybody. So let's not sit here and pretend that, this guy was capable or he was able to run it. No, Sonko was the face. So he owes that to Sonko. So let's not say, now Sonko is here watching the people that he fought now attacking him using his own guy. So how is that possible? So what I don't understand about Sonko, right? Sonko should have resigned. But I get that, sometimes you just want to be fired, so for you to make a better move or whatever. But for me, based on the things that I was showing, I wanted Sonko to resign peacefully. Tell him, you know what? We created this thing together. You became president. We don't see eye to eye. There you have it. I'm leaving. I wanted that to happen. But also, now what's going to happen? Diomaye, right? Diomaye is gonna try to block Sonko in 2029. And all these people don't understand, Diomaye is gonna have to. The oligarch in Senegal don't want Sonko. The establishment doesn't want Sonko. So Diomaye, for him to preserve the integrity and the peace and whatever they got going on in Senegal, he's gonna make sure Sonko doesn't get it. He's not even gonna be eligible as a candidate. Is they gonna make that happen for him? That's the history of Senegal. Those who don't know, that's that. So let me address CD. Okay, I'm gonna pivot for Ivory Coast. CD, when this guy, Jerome Soro was the president of parliament in Ivory Coast. Alassane Ouattara wanted to unite a few parties to make the RD whatever they got now, and Soro did not agree to that because he saw a problem too. They were like trying to unify enemies and friends, and he didn't feel it. So he told the president, I'm not happy with that, and you want me to be part of this party, I can't be part of this party. We fought together, and Soro was the head of the rebellion in Ivory Coast. He was the head of the rebellion. They fought the government. They fought Gbagbo. They are the one who made sure Alassane Ouattara become the president of Ivory Coast. So Soro told him, I don't trust these people. And Alassane Ouattara turned around and told him, if you don't want to come to the party, you should step down as the president of the assembly. He agreed. He stepped down. When he created his party, all hell broke loose for him. Alassane Ouattara were trying to put him in jail and try to prosecute him in front of everybody. He took off. He left the country. That's what happened. Thank you.
No, it's true. What you're saying is definitely true. He
Okay.
was the head of the rebellion, right?
Yeah.
I always say that he even helped Alassane Ouattara to be in power,
He did that.
right? But he's a very young guy. I
He
was
didn't help.
thinking that Soro should have that patience, right?
They made a
And
pact.
see,
They made a pact. Alassane Ouattara, he made a pact. Alassane Ouattara tell after his term, whatever term he was about to,
right.
he told Soro, you are next. He told him that. They had an understanding. Soro
Yeah.
said that. Soro said that in a meeting. They said they were witnesses. He called on his witnesses. They said, me and him had an agreement. After him, I will be next. So
Well, because Alassane said that because he wanted him to be in total position first before he
okay,
make any decision.
okay.
Definitely disappointed. I
So
mean, he betrayed the guy. That's
if you
that's
broke your
that's the
promise,
fact.
it's not on Soro. If you broke your promise, it's not on Soro. Soro,
Soro used to work with Babo, Laurent Babo before, right?
absolutely,
When
absolutely.
he and Blake Kude, Chad Blake Kude, they all used to work with Babo. But Alassane, what he wanted to solidify his power to bring Solo into his, because Solo helped him with the rebellion.
So
But again, he lied to Solo,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That when I'm leaving, you're gonna be in power. But
Mhm.
this is what I always happen in Africa. The fact is he just wanted for Solo to give him that more power. That's why he killed Ibe. You remember Ibe when he killed Ibe,
Yeah.
the head of the rebellion?
Mhm,
Ibe was reporting to Suru John,
mhm,
and Suru John tried to talk to Ibe. Ibe said, no, I'm not going to let this guy. When this guy comes, he's going to betray us.
mhm,
What Suru John did, he went and killed Ibe in Abobo, right?
mhm, mhm.
That was Suru's biggest political mistake,
Yeah.
right? And now he's in exile right now. And Lassan, this is what he wanted. He wanted his brother to be president. So the president that is in power as a president, he always have the power, no matter what. And I'm seeing this Sonko to be in trouble right now.
Mhm.
They may try to eliminate him. I can see that happening, or they will throw him in jail.
It might
You
happen,
know?
man. That's
Yeah.
Senegal, man. It's they're heavily. I mean, they don't. As you can see, they don't like people like Sonko. They don't. Right?
No,
They
they
can
don't like him.
tolerate. They can tolerate that. The people, the status quo don't like him. So for me, right?
Hey,
Okay,
30
sure.
seconds. I got to pass the mic. 30
Okay,
seconds.
for me, Sonko, what Sonko has to do, for me, in my opinion, he has to exile himself from Senegal for a minute, right? If really I were him, I would exile. I would go somewhere else, and build from outside and come back. Let Diomaye run for the next 2 years. Don't bother him. People are talking about he should be the president of parliament. I'm like, that right there is going to create friction because it's going to block everything Diomaye is going to bring to parliament. I guarantee you. For me,
But they
he
both,
should
but they
leave.
both being the same party. I don't know how they're going to handle this. This
But the
situation
guy
will be
is running on a different program. Diomaye is running on a different program. Even they're on the same party, they're running on a different program.
Let's pass the mic, guys.
Yeah, I got to pass the mic. Yeah, go ahead, Tarka.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Sunday evening. Just finished eating. For me personally, I'm so glad this happened. Right? I am so glad because from the current president kiss Macron last year sometime and hug and kisses, I knew that this shit is not going to work. This combination is not going to work. So with this happening right now, we're going to see where the people, not these two, where the people want to take the country. That's the most important. So we're going to see over the next year where the people is leading to. Look, there's a new multi-pro world order being created by Iran, Russia, and China. Right? We're not taking no slaves. Whoever want to hang on to Massa, let them hang on to Massa. CD, I need you to make up your damn mind. I understand where Elvis is coming from because Elvis always stick to the same position. From I've been listening to him, he stick to the same position. All right. Last week you said that France ain't didn't do nothing for Africa, and Macron ain't shit. How come you're changing your mind now?
Oh no, I didn't change my mind. I did not say anything that's in
You
favor of
just said
France right now.
Senegal needs France. That's what you just said.
Well, because the reason I'm saying that is you can't compare Burkina Faso, Mali with Senegal. These are countries that have a lot of mineral resources. Senegal does not have resources
They
compared to
have
the
oil.
other
They have
West
oil. They
African
have
countries.
tourism.
Well, I mean, the tourism is not like
And
that.
they have
They need to
oil.
make a lot of money in fishing, and fishing is not making that much money because the Chinese are, on
And
their
what about the
shore
oil?
collecting all the fish, right? So Senegal, in comparison to Burkina Faso,
What
Burkina can
about the
stand.
oil? You didn't say on the
Nah,
oil. What about oil?
some of this oil that you talk about it take more resources to get to this oil than the reality. These are offshore drilling. It's very, very costly. It's very expensive to get this oil out. So it's not like when you say the Senegal has an oil, it's just like in a jungle somewhere. No, they go in the middle of the sea. They have
I know.
the
I know
technology and
offshore.
keep
I
all
know
this
offshore drilling. I
right.
know
So it's
offshore
very
drilling.
expensive to get to the
Yeah.
Africa get oil, but the Italians are drilling Africa oil. How much Africa is getting out of that? Not that much. But when you go to Burkina Faso, they have a lot of resources. Burkina can stand on his own, right? That's why France is so frustrated with these three countries, right? So, and I said, well, we need our alternative in a sense that can stand up to the
Well,
West.
France is not the alternative because France take money from Senegal.
No, when
They
I
make
say
money from Senegal.
alternative, we all of them cannot succumb ourselves to France. France is being exploiting Africa all along.
Right.
So
So
that's what I'm
what's
saying.
the big deal?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If Senegal was serious, because these guys, they first of all, they ran on this ideology that they're going to break out from France, right? What Sonko is doing, yeah, he's 100% right. But the reality is they have no experience, right? They have no idea where to get other resources from somewhere else. They just continue to collect debt from IMF.
They have France don't have no resources to give Senegal.
And
France
I
have no
know that very
resources at all.
well. I know that very well, but the only benefit they get out of France is France come there and spend money. A lot of French would
Well, we don't
retire. They
need them.
live in Senegal.
No, well, guess what? We don't need France to come in and spend any more money, bro, because they take money from Senegal. Okay, they take money from all the African countries
Yeah,
that they colonize. So we don't
that's
need
the
that. We
currency
don't
that they
need France.
introduced.
Period. We don't need France. Period. And like I said, right, I'm glad this happened because it's going to determine where the people, and like you said, it's going to be chaos in France. I mean, in Senegal, and I hope it is. Okay, because the people have to decide where they want. Do they want to stick with Massa, or they want to move on? Right? There's no two way about it. Whoever wants to stick with Massa, they can go ahead and stick with Massa. Their world is going down. Okay, their world is wrapping up. All of them is wrapping up, including right here in the U.S. Okay, so fuck France. Right? Fuck everybody that still believe in this fucking colonizer and enslaver. Right? I can't believe people in 2026 still want to hang on to this fucking piece of shit.
Hey, talk.
Country.
We talk. We gotta calm down on the F-bombs, please.
Yeah, but Dan, this is serious shit here. But a lot of people dying. People are dying, bro.
I think we get a point across without dropping so many F-bombs.
All right. So what I'm saying is leave France out of it. And it's France is done. They're done. You see what I'm saying? Stop trying to grab onto him and pull him along. He's done. They're dying in France right now. They don't have shit over there going on. All they
First
have is
of all,
reserve.
this guy wife, one of his wives is in France going to school.
What?
So he's one of his wives is in France going to school.
No, who
July
cares?
5. So
Who cares though?
I knew very well these guys were going to break off anyway because Ousmane
And I'm
Sonko don't
glad
want to
they
do that
did.
with France. So
So glad they did. Okay? Because like I said, now we're gonna see where the people stand. It's up to the people. Right? And like St. James said, he just a come along. Right? And from this too, he didn't even hesitate to be in France behind. He did not even hesitate a little bit. Right?
But
To make peace with his
you're,
people.
you won't, you know, when you're not in government, right? You don't know how integrated your country's economics, you know, is France. So if he probably went in there and saw that France has hands in essential parts of their country, and you can't just detach yourself from them so easily. Maybe that's the thing that's hindering him from cutting ties with France. Don't you think?
Bro, I see your point. But when a country do so much evil to you for so many years, for decades on top of decades on top of decades, and they refuse to change at all. They refuse to change. You don't want nothing to do with those people. You can just cut the ties. You see, if Mandela did cut ties with these bitches, right? And did what he was supposed to do from the beginning, South Africa wouldn't be going through what they're going through today. Okay? But you want to hang on, make peace, and so forth and so on. Right? But you see what's happening in South Africa today. Right? Cut ties with these people that mean no good to you. As simple and start over fresh. Even if you suffer, starting over. Okay? Cut ties with them. Like I said, there's a new world order coming on. Pick a side.
yeah,
Whoever is not
the thing is these guys don't have experience. What brought the Chinese Senegal? He was the one that introduced Senegal to the Chinese. And then they have other options. But for them, they don't know which direction to go.
well, they better
Right.
find the direction, CD. They better find it. Okay? Find the direction. Stop depending on these fucking people. Sorry, Diners. Stop depending on these people. Okay? Fine. Work hard. Suffer through it. Fine. Do what the Burkina Faso, they in the streets and they're building their own roads. People volunteering, bringing sand,
You
some bring
compare
brick.
these two
You see what I'm
countries,
saying?
even though let me tell you, they have a common cultural similarity, but Burkina Faso is completely different from Senegalese.
Well, they
Have
have to
more of
change. They have to
Western
change.
ideology
They
than
have to
the
change.
Burkina
You
Faso.
change. You have to change, CD. You have to change.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah, you're
You have
right.
to adapt. You have to adapt. And you have to work hard. It's as simple as that. You see
All
what
right,
I'm saying?
guys, let me pass the mic to Africa. Go ahead, Africa.
Yeah, greetings to everyone. I hope everyone's well and you had a great weekend. Dinus, I hope you have a great time in the great ancestral land.
I did. It was
Are you
great.
still there? Oh,
No, I'm
wicked,
back in the
wicked.
States. I came back here. I arrived back in Atlanta yesterday.
Oh, wicked. Amazing. I mean, good, 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 good. It's good to know that you've been there, you had a good time, and you're back home. Yeah,
Congrats
I
to
know
you, damn
Senegalese.
Arsenal supporters. Freaking congratulations.
Up the Gunners, up, 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 up. We're gonna win the Champions League as well. I was thinking of you, Elvis. I couldn't wait to give it to you, but you know what? Because we won it, I'll leave you alone. I hope you support us for the Champions League.
Hell no.
That would be nice. No surprise, eh? Yeah. So to be honest with you, as I said in the past, you know, with this Mansa and Farmer rulership system again, I'm going to bore with you guys. It's there's nothing. Listen, the coastal West Africa is totally different to the inner lands. Their mindsets, the relationship they have, and how the people are wired is totally different. Okay, I'll start with that. The country like, because even Sierra Leone, where I come from, where and Liberia, we always have been Pan African state. But when you look at how I studied our people recently, fairly recently, if you look at how people are wired, and I study them online and how they think, they're very, for some reason, they're still caught up in this uh, pro West, like this West savior mentality. It's hard to get them away from it. Coastal West Africa, from Senegal, um, all the way down to Nigeria, they just they're heavily tangled with the West. It's very difficult to take them out, and I noticed that, and that's one. The inner lands, like the Sahel, like the EES, for example, most of these countries, the people there, their mindset are totally different. You can see the difference because those people in the Sahel, you can see why they like this. They like sovereignty. They don't like to be ruled. These people build kingdoms, they build empires. They have had their own independence for centuries. In fact, some of the Europeans came to the Sahel region to learn from these people. So for you to come and tell these people, what to do and start ruling them and bossing them around, it's a very difficult thing. So if we look at those aspects, that will help us out when we deal with our emotions and how we see these people, these nations and how they run their countries. Is a man and a farmer. Okay. Um, I mean, Senegal. I mean, to be honest with you, as some people already highlighted, like I think St. James did said that he's not surprised that um, this happened. I saw it happen. I saw this coming because you have two bosses in one room. Anytime you get that, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because they're both been through the same struggle, but we know the limelight was always on Sonko, and they both made it, and they came as some kind of populist movement, and the movement was really concentrated on Sonko movement, not on Jamai Faye. But the grassroots was behind Jamai Faye. The populist was behind Sonko. And it's the same thing I discovered when I went to my Senegalese restaurant because I'm very close to the owner. Where I sit there drinking ataya and and chill out. I listen to them. I don't get involved because I don't know a lot about Senegalese politics. All I know is our ancestral home, and I listen to them. These guys are people of all ethnicity, of all background. They all come from different angles. Okay, and this evenly splits. Some of them think Sonko is a liability, is holding the government moving forward in terms of what they want to do. That's why the government is not, doing well because the reason why they are struggling, because the government is not doing well. Okay, and the other groups think Jamai Faye is not is a problem. That's the reason why the government is not doing well. The economy is doing bad. And so it's a very funny one. And I think what will happen is, I think CD also pointed out, they will try and make Sonko irrelevant, and I think that's going to happen. So, and basically, what will happen probably by next election, he's not going to be that relevant. Maybe the opposition party who was in power will probably align with the current president to make sure he doesn't, have a foothold to stand on. So
What about the
he will
people,
continue.
Africa? What about the people
Yeah,
of Senegal? What's
the
going? You see
people
the
are
rally
evenly.
that you see the
Yeah,
rally that he just had. What's going to happen with them? That's what I'm saying.
okay, right. As you remember what St. James said, people get killed in Senegal through a lot for rallying, and this is West African issue. A lot of them, gets, it will. Okay, the people in Senegal are evenly split. Okay, those that you see come out of the streets are very angry, and there are other people who sat, at home and seeing those people in the street as nuisance. And this is exactly what I learned from my guy, who is a Senegalese guy. Because after I had the argument, I spoke to him. He's from the Olaf tribe. Yes, he said to me, he said the people are not happy, but he said there are other people also that don't like that at all. You know, yeah.
Well,
So
like I said, we're going to see
yeah.
which way the people go. That's what I'm going to say. All right. This is 2026, bro. This is not 2070. All right. So we're going to see where the people go.
Yeah, I think you that's exactly the point, right? So it's going to evenly split as we speak. Even in Senegal, they're split about this. Some people don't think he is, the Basically, the government in place. They're gonna look weak, and to the point that when the next election comes, they're going to look at these governments, their performance, and based on the previous government performance, and that's where the people will go. Because majority of the people that elected these guys, okay, like Sonko and Diomaye Faye, are the younger generation. These are not the normal voters. The average normal Senegalese voter, according to my one-off friend, they don't, they didn't actually vote that much last election. They stayed at home. So majority of the votes went younger population because this Sonko and Diomaye Faye movement is basically organic from the younger generation, not from the grassroots voters. So it's
And
all
that's who's
depend
going to
on
win
what.
out. The younger generation. That's who's going to win out.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not Senegalese. I don't want to make things up here.
That's in general.
So
That's anywhere in the world. That's who's going to win out eventually. That's a,
I would
that's a,
say that.
that's the movement
And
now, bro. That's the movement
you
now.
you like you like to think so. That's
Nah,
wishful
that's the
thinking.
movement
But
now. That's the movement now.
one
It's
second,
not like before. With
Okay,
with
in the
social
UK.
with
But looking at
social
May,
media and the internet,
may
that's where the
may
world is
one
going.
second, Taka, may I? If you look at the UK and Europe and America, majority of the voters who elects, president over here when it comes to democracy, they're not the youngest people. Like in the UK, most of the voters here
I'm
who
talking about the
elect
South
people
South
are
country, bro. I'm talking about in the South South country. I'm not talking about
okay.
in enslaved places.
For me, okay. For me, if I just finish it, for me, I just think, this is the problem with democracy. Sometimes, right? We think democracy is a final solution for our problems, but sometimes it can actually create more issues because now instead of carrying on governing and doing the things that they were supposed to be doing, now it's all going to be internal politics and wrangling instead of doing their job. So it's going to hold them back.
I just want
But
to I just want to throw a little piece of information in
yeah,
here.
yeah. One second. And for someone that said Senegal doesn't have mineral resources, that's not true. Senegal is highly industrialized when it comes to the agriculture and like fishing. In fact, a lot of the people actually work in industrial agriculture. They produce a lot of stuff and service and tourist economy, mining. They have abundant resources. They have phosphate, gold, which is a major actually. They have loads of gold. They have oil and gas, and basically the industry and manufacturing food, they manufacture food. The industry is actually quite huge compared to other African countries.
Let me just say this
So I
quickly,
don't,
Africa, then you
yeah.
continue, right?
Senegal get a lot of food from Burkina Faso and Guinea.
Hold on,
That's what
CD,
I'm telling you right now.
hold on,
Well,
CD.
guys, before we do that, let me pass it to Two Niger because Two Niger has been waiting. Go ahead, Two Niger.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks, man. Thanks, Dinas. Thanks for having me, and greetings to all the panelists, the chat, and the viewers. Good thing you're on the continent. I didn't know you were in Africa, maybe Nigeria.
He's
Good thing
back.
that you are back, Dinas. Yeah. Regarding these incidents in that's developments in Senegal, I guess human beings will be human beings. They will have their disagreements. For me, the disagreement, with my issue is what does that mean for the people? That is my own issue. Um, would your disagreement be for the greater good of the people? Are you which side is actually arguing for the greater good of the people? My For me, I'm not very optimistic with African leaders. They tend to lack ambition. They don't tend to do things in a decisive and saying what, whatever happens it happens. It's only the Sahel nations one can argue that they are taking significant risks, and whether it's going to lead them to development is something we have to watch the space for. From what I know about working with the Russians, they are capable of giving you security assistance in terms of even supporting you strategically in terms of security. But what would you do about development? Are you going to leverage the Chinese and all the necessary partners to help develop the country? The same is true for Senegal. All this argument they're having now could be ideological, or it could be similar to the divide that occurred in some country whereby I think was it Traore that had to overthrow the somebody that they actually planned the coup together earlier on because the person wasn't doing what they were supposed to do. So could that be the situation you are seeing here, that the current president of Senegal is betraying the vision that they had in place, or is the other one just a spoiler because he is not the one at the top of the the ticket? I don't necessarily know what is causing their problem, but at the core of it, for me, is how does it change the plight of the Senegalese? How does it help them become stronger, more developed country compared to the rest of the world? And I really think that that's where our focus should be. Whoever is making that argument in that direction, I will take them more seriously. What I find with many African countries that are working with France is that they have this, their relationship with the French are based on old beliefs and old ways of thinking that, okay, the French are there to help us, or we have to do what they say so that we can be relatively okay. They will make sure me and my family are doing very well, we'll travel overseas, but the people are left behind. That is the model that the French people are known for, and that's France is known for. I don't necessarily know whether they will sustain it, because we are watching the so-called change that the French is preaching. I don't know whether that is true. I'm not very optimistic, because I've never seen it. If you want to change your attitude, you will see it very, very quickly. I've not seen that. All this stuff is rhetoric. They are buying time to come and finish the job. If the Sonko himself is arguing that, hey, you are getting distracted. The French are shining this shining light for you again, and you're getting distracted. You are getting hooked on their so-called promises. You need to back off and focus on what truly matters, like the way the Sahel nations are doing. If that's what Sonko is doing, I believe he's going to get the support of the people. And I believe that this current president in office, the problem there is that the French are backing him. If the French are backing the person in office against Sonko, then you could see some serious problems occur. Maybe that's why they even allowed him to ascend into office. That's the current president. Maybe that's why they allowed it. Remember, there was a bit of a problem in Senegal, but later on, I think what's his name? The previous president backed off.
Macky Sall.
Yeah, Macky Sall backed off and allowed this guy to become president before they didn't want to. So maybe the reason why they did was because maybe he had a deal with them, because these people, they have ways of overthrowing your regime from within. If you look at in Iran, there was a story that they wanted to even hand over to Ahmadinejad. This is somebody that sounded very anti-West before, but maybe somehow they managed to get to him, and they were looking to hand over to him. But because they bombed his house to free him, he felt that, okay, that was too close call. I don't know what he felt, but he just changed his mind because of it. So these people have a way of overthrowing you within your own organization. So we have to watch his space and see what Sonko. I believe Sonko is either wanting to go further, like the Sahel nations, or it's a personality thing. I'm not. Human beings are very, very fickle. When they see that the person that was their student now is the master and telling them what to do, they could have that disagreement. It's possible that is the case, but I think this is more like ideological difference. And if it's ideological, I think Sonko should win the argument. But in reality, will Sonko win the argument? I'm not so sure. The French are willing to do anything to ensure this their puppet remains in office. If the current president is a puppet.
Let me say this, right? So there are some, I guess, rumors that's been going around, and somebody in the chat is even putting it in the chat, that Sonko has this alternative lifestyle. And whether it's just propaganda or there's some fire to that smoke, he's allegedly, part of the Rainbow Coalition. And he has certain sexual vices about him, because a Muslim man, a high political person.
If that was the case, Macron would have loved him because he's the same.
Yeah, that's fine, dude. I just want to bring it out here, right? And we can maybe discuss it. But then he was caught in a massage parlor. How many of you guys on this platform right now goes to a massage parlor? He went to a massage parlor in Senegal. And
A ladies massage parlor? That ladies massage you?
yeah, it was a ladies massage parlor, right?
Shit.
No, I do that.
Are you
That's not a
serious?
big deal.
I've got that. What's wrong with
I've done
that?
it.
Okay, I don't go there, but
What's wrong with
what
that?
I'm trying to say. Hold on, let me finish it. Let me finish it. The point here is, it seemed like he's, when it comes to his quote unquote sex life, he's a bit loosey goosey with it, especially for a politician. So he got caught up in that initially with the accusation of rape and was held, and then of course it was found not to be credible, but they still kept in there for inciting riots amongst the youth. But the rumor that's going here with one of our brothers in the chat, Sudu Bari, I think he's from Senegal. He comes on the platform once in a while. He's saying that's a rumor that's going around. And I went online just to do a quick search.
I had at the group in the Senegalese restaurant also.
Yeah, and I went and did a quick research, and the guy, I think his name is Indika Sek. He was arrested like 6 days ago, and apparently, allegedly, he admitted to being in that lifestyle. And you name,
But Elvis, you like people like that though.
I have an answer.
I'm not being funny.
I have an answer. Hold on, let me just wrap up. Then you can discuss it. My point here is, in a religious country, in a Muslim country like Senegal, for somebody as high profile as he is, and I would have dismissed it if he wasn't caught in a compromising quote unquote sexual position like going to a massage parlor, because we all have vices, right? Some men, they're gamblers, they're degenerate, prostitute, whoremongers. Different people have different vices. So people always try to find your vice and try to catch you with it. If you have 5 different girlfriends and you're a married person claiming to be a family man, they're going to use that against you. If you have alternative lifestyle, they're going to use it against you. So I'm not sure if this is true, but just based on the evidence and what we're hearing from Senegalese and then going online and researching it, there seems to be some truth to it, and that might hurt him politically.
Are you trying to say he's a boxer?
That's the accusation.
I have a direct rebuttal to everybody on the panel, right, including Danes, who just returned from Senegal. How many ladies in Senegal have accused Sonko of that? How many of them? How many of them have? Okay, now you see.
You're right. That was one case. You're right.
One case that
accused, isn't it? But
one case that the former president tried to use against Sonko. So if there was 2 cases, 3 cases, then we have a situation. One, don't think so. And who in Senegal who's pushing for stricter laws regarding the other side? Who but Sonko who's doing that? He's even going after his own government. Not like less than a week ago, he was on live TV pushing his own government to put stricter rules for the other side. So the guy in the chat, right? I'm reading what he's saying.
Some of these people get trouble problems. He's a Barry.
No. I don't. That's why I don't. You see, that's why I say I'm going to address it.
The guy in the chat right now is a Fulani.
Right. I'm addressing it and leave it be.
Some people have
Sonko is a Fulani too, right?
Sonko is not.
It was Sonko that blocked Makisa vice president. Makisa vice president of Fulani. He was supposed to be the next president for Makisa party, right? Some people have this whole trouble thing when they see their trouble.
But Africa said he heard it in the barbershop in the UK, all the way in the UK. You heard him talking about it also.
That's a made-up story.
It's a made-up story.
If you haven't been found guilty of something, then you are not that person, right? Also, so we're not going to see it like that's why I asked if he was accused of by more than one. So if we don't have more than one, then there is problem, right? So Sonko himself said he didn't do it, right? They took him to court and they raised a kangaroo court against him. We all followed the trial, bro. They were just trying to prevent the guy from running for president. That's all. So no vices over here. No vices. People were talking about vices.
if there was a problem like Epstein and all that, you would have seen a lot of people coming out of the woodworks accusing him of that. If they haven't, then let's leave the problem be. Let's move on, bro. Let's do it.
You've
This
got
is
you know
the
what?
tribal
One
problem that
second,
in Africa, right? The
No,
guy who
see,
is
one
speaking, the
second.
guy who want to mention his name, you know, I debate, you know, all tribes. You know, that's why I don't
Yeah.
take tribal side. If I were to take
No.
side, I would take side with Ousmane Sonko because the person that Diomaye Faye fire, I mean, Atatürk, she's from my tribe. But people always try to identify themselves with their tribe. The guy who's
Yeah.
supposed to be Macky Sall
That's not
vice
the.
president,
In all
he's a
fair,
Fulani. And the guy who just
yeah,
mentioned is Barry is Fulani. So they always
yeah.
try
In
to
all
back their
fairness,
people based
But
on
I'm
tribal
saying
issues.
that rumor permeated all the way to the UK. Even our
you
brother
know,
Africa heard it over there.
yeah. CD. In all fairness, okay. I've been. There was something happening. You know, when someone have a child and they have this get together, you know, thing over the weekend. I was in there, and in all fairness, you know, the people that are supporting Sonko in there, they were evenly split. There are Fulani who are actually pro Sonko. There are Fulani who are against Sonko. There's all of who are pro Faye and Sere, and there's other ones who are against Faye. So I don't think, you know, actually trying to label it as because it's Fulani defending. That
Oh
does
no,
not
no, no,
reflect
no.
how Senegalese
I'm not
people
saying
think.
all Fulani. I speak
No,
in
I
Dumbuya,
understand
right?
that.
I speak
Yeah.
against Dumbuya. I
I
speak
know,
against
I know.
Alassane
Me
Ouattara.
and you,
Yeah, but,
me and you both level in that
yeah,
level.
but
Me and you
stop
both
going
level up.
around the
I know,
thing though. Elvis,
Yeah. So
did he?
one
Hold on a
second,
second,
one
Al.
second.
But I want
Mm,
to ask
mm,
Elvis, did somebody actually see him with a man?
mm.
It's not
Well, so
true.
there's
That's
this
just
guy.
a
His
No,
name is, I
that
think,
what said.
Indika
Look. What
Indika
St. James
Sek,
said just
right? He's a
now. One second.
hold on one second. Let me
What St.
ask
James said earlier. You know,
quickly.
one second. Let me make one thing clear. He was accused
Okay.
of raping a woman before, okay, and that's before the election, and he was acquitted, you know, for that case. So he wasn't convicted for raping. So he was acquitted. That's when he was allowed to stand, and then they went for the election. So that could be fabricated lies against him to make him look like
Exactly.
he's gay or he's a sexual predator. You know, and you know this. So we need to look at this thing because for me, because he's not convicted, I think that shouldn't be mentioned at all. Okay, but
But
in that
you heard it
opinion,
in the restaurant, right?
yeah, I had that
no,
100%
Everybody
fact.
hears
I had
stuff
them there
And
though.
admitting that. Yeah.
those are
They do.
Senegalese who were talking about it, right?
Everybody hears stuff, Elvis.
Yes.
Everybody hears stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you know,
That's yeah.
Daryl, the point I'm trying to make, right? If you like in my country, right? Take City maybe know this, but maybe not. There's a famous politician in Liberia called Louis Brown. Have you heard any rumors about Louis Brown before City?
yes. Mhm.
Okay. So people from the country, they know the lifestyles of their politician and how they get down. So if somebody says something about them, you say, oh, they're just making it up. But people who live in the community, people who know these people, some people even know, you know, guys who have said certain things about them. There's this. I had a friend of mine who said his sister's what we call Kobo shop, you know, the little restaurant that the people have.
Right.
He used to go meet this guy, this light-skinned guy in the restaurant, and told the sister to give him anything he wants and whatever. And people knew it was like an open secret that this guy was a bisexual person. Right now, he's our representative at the United Nations. People know in their country who's who and how their lifestyle is.
Albert, what happened with
That
Sonko
rumor
is
is
that
coming from the Senegalese. There might be something to it.
Sonko only said that they should not be targeting people and beat them in the street and kill them because they are homosexual. That's all he been talking about.
No,
So
but then
yes,
the guy, Deki Sek, who just got arrested for being gay, allegedly admitted and
Liberia, right? What y'all got going on in Liberia, right? I guarantee what y'all got going on in Liberia, that wouldn't stay in Senegal. I'm telling you, if Sonko was that, bro, you don't know Senegal, bro. Relax. If that was going on in Senegal and people have found out about it, that would have been the end of Sonko. That would have been the end of Sonko.
That's why he said that they should not be beating these people in the street and kill them. That's why they do Senegal. The same thing in Guinea. They grab you as a homosexual, they burn you alive. So he said, no, they should not be doing that. They are Senegalese.
I agree with him.
We should help them.
I agree with him.
And then people were saying that
although I hate them, but I agree
you
with
all
him.
know my position. I'm a liberal. You know my position on these things. I'm not telling you that, you know, he should be gay people should be burned in the street. I'm just telling you, we are African.
Yeah.
We know these things. There's certain politicians amongst us who have an alternative lifestyle, who may have a wife, but also, you know, kind of flip the other way. We know these things, right? And
Oh, yeah,
for me,
yeah,
I can
that's
tell
right.
you one
No,
or two politicians who had suspicions about them in my country, and that's rumor
Then
that's been
even
going on for
going out
years.
of
George,
your
we are
going out
delivering
of
this
your
way to
marriage,
George. We are the same thing.
going out of your marriage is known in Africa. We get that, but that lifestyle
Yeah.
that you're talking about, maybe that's going on in Liberia. Where we from?
Mm.
It's
If you are that,
everywhere.
oh no no no,
What's his
bro,
name?
let me finish. Let
King
me finish.
James. It's
You
everywhere,
can
bro.
do it. No, 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 let me tell you. If it comes to be known by the people, that's what I'm telling you. I want you to listen to me. If people come to find out that you live that lifestyle,
You're
you won't
crucified.
represent. You won't represent them anymore. That's what we go by.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. CD
Simple as
knows.
that.
You
No,
know
but
how
I
to keep
mean,
it.
what Average said is true. Even sometimes they used to accuse George Open we have for the same thing, or certain politicians, there's a red flag on them. But as the same thing what St. James is saying, because I'm familiar with all these two country
See,
culture,
in the Sahel, do
there are
you think
certain things that you
people
do
will
in
tolerate
Liberia,
that in the
you will
Sahel?
never. Nah, you
You,
can't do that. Nah,
in
they will
Niger,
Let me
which
run
is
tell
you
you now. You be dead.
99% Muslim, you think that can be
You be dead.
tolerated?
You be dead.
nah.
You be dead. You be dead. They'll
Are you
hang you
kidding
out.
me?
They'll hang you. Yeah, they'll hang you.
Mhm.
Man, let's
But the
not
thing is,
bring the other side over here. Like, come on, it's
yeah,
all over the
yeah.
place, like this guy is saying. It's not all over the place. Where I'm
No, that's
from,
not
we don't
what
allow that.
that's
It's
not what I
not. We're
said,
not.
I,
No, no,
CJ.
no, bro. No, no, no. Let me address. You said it's all over the place. I agree, but it's not.
No,
Where
I
I'm from is
said
not there.
there are gays everywhere.
Right.
Do
Right.
you
It's
know that there
not.
are gays in Senegal, there are gays in Burkina Faso, there are gays
Yes.
in Niger?
Yes. We're talking
Of
about
course. So
representative.
when I say that, don't say it like it's
We said. No,
impossible
no,
to be
no. You
true.
are alluding to
Not
representative.
open, not open gate, bro. Not open
You are
gate.
alluding to representative. That's what I'm addressing. You say I know there's open gays
There's a rumor
everywhere, but
about
you
them. Did I
no,
start
no,
the
no. Like I
rumor?
said, if people come to
Out
find
in the
out, you
UK,
would
you heard
never.
that same rumor. We heard it
If
right on the
people,
platform here today
okay,
also.
okay,
So
okay. If that's true in Liberia and you guys are letting him rule over you, that's you. So that on the other side, we don't. No, we don't go with that. That's
there
Liberia.
are politicians in your government right now who are on the cover. I guarantee you it.
How do you know that? You sleep with them?
The
You must
Average
not
and
know
St.
Africa.
James, these two
let's
guys, man.
let's
Yeah, you
Do
must
you
not
let's
sleep
know.
with
I'm
them, bro?
telling you.
So are you
This
the
James,
thing,
one fixing
thing
their?
that all
Are
the
you the one
government
fixing their?
officials
Are you the
are
one
the
fixing
straight up
their?
an arrow and
Bro,
Are
they
you
don't
the
they
one
want to
fixing
come
their
with my desk and
rendezvous?
things. You'll be
Are you the
wrong.
one
St.
fixing their rendezvous?
James and Average, you're trying to meet up, man. You guys, I don't know what both of you
No,
talking about.
St. James, St. James,
I don't.
this whole thing that we Africans we tend to say, well, there's no gay in
No, no,
Africa.
no,
Africa,
bro,
we don't accept that. We're
bro,
men. We don't. There's gay
bro.
everywhere, bro.
So did I deny that?
St.
You're
James.
bringing it like
Right.
this
So
is. I'm
when I
denying it.
tell you that in your government
I
there's more
said
likely a gay person,
representative. I
don't.
said representative. You are alluding. You gave us an example of a representative in
Okay.
Liberia, and I responded just because of the fact that the guy was a representative and he's known for being on the other side. That's why I responded to you. Now, if you don't understand what I say, you can ask me.
In all fairness, but you got to understand, a country like Liberia and a country like the Sahelian country, they're very totally different cultures. They're very people in the Sahel in general. They will hang you for those things. It's not they don't take it lightly. Even Senegal, that's a bit
They will
more
stone. They will stone
religious.
you to death.
Yeah,
They
they
will
will stone you
stone
to
you to
death.
death.
Yeah, and these are not things to play with.
That happened in Nigeria a
However,
couple years ago.
to be honest, Nigeria they have
They stoned in
a
the.
guy.
It happened in the
No,
north.
in the north, yeah, in the north, yeah, in the
Yeah, they
north. That's
stoned. They stoned them to death, literally.
yeah, and also what you got to remember, like these countries, in where, for example, in Sierra Leone, in Sierra Leone and Liberia, these are countries that have a different setup to the rest of West Africa. You know, they have a different culture and different setup. So these are things that we should make clear, when we're speaking about things like that. Because even though in Sierra Leone also we 75, we're a majority Muslim country, minority Christian, but we are quite liberal. But also, like, this homosexuality is quite conservative. You probably will not know if someone is gay or not because
Exactly.
they don't. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
almost like Senegal. If you compare Guinea Fula to Sierra Leone Fula, right? I'm familiar
Mm,
with both. Fulani from Sierra Leone, they are very liberal. Some of them you go to Fulani home in Sierra Leone. Some of them are Christian, some of them are Muslim.
yeah, yeah,
But you
yeah,
would never
yeah.
see that in Guinea, right?
No, no,
So
no, no, no.
the Fulani from Sierra Leone, when you see them, you can know they are very
We're
liberal.
full of
They
Creole.
accept
We're
everything.
Creole people.
Right.
Sierra
Right.
Leoneans are Creole people.
So someone even
We
call themselves Creole. So you will know
yeah,
by
yeah.
their
Our culture.
complexion or by their name. Or sometimes the way
Yeah,
they will spell their name. Instead of Jalo, they will say Jala.
So
Yeah. Or
they
Jalo.
try to mess it up
Yeah,
somehow.
Jalo.
So right,
Yeah.
so they are more westernized. So that's why when they go to Guinea or Senegal, they
Mm.
think they are these people, they are not even real Fula, or sometimes they think they are more
I
Western.
get that. I get that. Culturally, I
Right.
get that. And also how
So
we are as people. When we went to Guinea as Sierra Leone Fula, we struggled over there because they don't see us like, really, because Guinea is a conservative country. In fact, people in Guinea never used to know, like the average Fula girl will wear like certain type of clothes and, dress certain way. The Fula girl in Guinea, or a Madingo girl in Guinea, she will not dress like that. She wear African clothing and she will cover most of her body. You understand? And the average Fula girl or a Madingo girl from Sierra Leone, they'll go out, drink, have a party, have a glass of wine, and have a good time. The average girl in Guinea, Fula Mandingo, will hide. Even if she does that, even if she being an educated graduate in the diaspora, she will have to hide. So for us, it's like everything is so liberal, and we have a different mindset and different culture. Even in Sierra Leone, we have Fullers who are quite conservative, by the way, but that is reserved. They can be conservative, but please, just be conservative, but just let me live my life. You understand? So it's like that. So we actually don't have, we have a
yeah,
different
the Sierra
mindset.
Leone, they are very, very liberal. Sometimes you
And
see
like,
Chris
like
Muslim
people
in
also,
Sierra
like people,
Leone. You see
yeah,
someone
Chris,
going to church at the same time he go to mosque. They call himself Chris Muslim.
that,
So that's
like
in,
Chris,
in Sierra
Yeah,
Leone, I
Christmas.
experienced that.
that person is an equal opportunist, CD. So you should
That's
like him
very
for that.
common in Sierra Leone.
He's
That's
bringing
very
unity
common in
between the
Sierra
faiths.
Leone.
They,
Sometimes they will say, "Boy, me
just in
don't
case,
balance this side, or that they me get me money. Me don't
just
no
in
more
case,
Muslim again. Me don't balance than
just in case,
Christianity." You see that in
just in case
Sierra
the other one no
Leone.
work, the other one work. That's why when we hear you guys sitting there worried over religion, we just laugh at you like you're dummy, you're idiot.
So you can tell from Africa that he's a
You're
real
dumb fool.
what's in name Fulani because Sierra Leone, I know how they live.
Like
But
Tunaja will come here and
Africa,
pretend to be
Africa,
Pan
Africa,
African, but he's
Africa.
hiding.
I know
Yeah.
you come out. I know you from. Some of the people come from the Sahel, right? But most of the,
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I've seen
Oh, the Fula from the Sahel.
right.
No,
The
definitely
Fula,
not. They
the
will be
Fula from
different.
the
They'll kill you.
Sahel. Some of the Fula
Mm.
from the Sahel. If you guys meet,
Yeah.
right? So do you think
Yeah.
you guys are gonna relate? Some of them.
No,
Okay.
absolutely nothing.
No. Africa will tell you that he drinks. He come in, he say I'm drunk, but Guinea Fula will not show. He will hide to drink. Right?
We'll take his ass to
Madingo Fula
Sharia
will
court
hide to
and
drink.
give him 88 latches on his back for drinking alcohol.
They'll be like, they'll be like, they disown you, they'll chuck you out, bro. This even me, I don't get on. Listen, it's funny when I'm on, like in a platform like this, and like some people that have no clue about other group of people or other country and other cultures, and they talk. I just listen to them. I'm thinking, guys, did you know we actually westernize you? Even though you're Christian or you're Muslim, we actually taught you all this bad behavior. We actually introduced you to those people that you're worshiping. Can you just relax for a little bit and stop? I think somebody's here. Somebody's here is
Yeah.
listening. You know what I'm talking about, not you, Elvis.
Bro, man. Hey, Tunaja,
Yeah.
I heard you the other day, man. You were met, Tunaja.
Don't start.
No, I'm not going to start, bro. I heard you the other day about that. You don't understand why Traore and them are wearing the uniform, and they should take the uniform off, and they should comply with the. You were all over the place, Tunaja. What's going on with you, man? So you want Traore to dress like Tinubu or something? Like what's the problem?
The only problem is that gut is getting too big for that tight shirt he be wearing, man.
Well, the military would have said that because he's still on the
That's why his
battlefield.
wife is treating him good.
So if that battle was preventing him, if that battle,
Put in a physical regimen.
if that guy, Elvis. Sometimes when you see him, right, he wears a bulletproof. So when people are talking about a gut, guess what? He wears a bulletproof, and when he wears the uniform,
we know a football
St.
we
James.
see, man. We know a football we see.
St.
Right.
James. St. James.
Yeah.
There. When I was in New York,
Mhm.
there is a jiu-jitsu master right? He was about 60 years old at the time. I'm not even sure if he's still alive today. He was about 60 years at the time. He got a beer belly.
Right.
Go fuck with him
I know.
and see what happened.
What's your national dish
Okay.
in Burkina Faso, St. James?
What's that?
What's your national dish that you guys eat the most?
We really don't have a specific name for that in French. So we eat rice. We eat rotten fish, rotten lamb, rice, and
Wow.
that's one of the national dishes. Like we eat a lot of rice.
He's getting like 6 servings of that a day now, man. You know he's the head of state, so
who's that?
Good. It's expanding rapidly.
What do you say?
I said he's eating like 6 servings of those things that you guys like to eat in Burkina
He
Faso.
ain't
So his
that
gut
big,
is
Elvis.
extending
Come on now.
rapidly.
He ain't that big.
Well, you noticed it too, right, Daryl? In all fairness, you noticed he got a little,
He got a
girth.
little gut. Yeah, he got a little gut. He ain't that big, man. Come on now.
You know when you're on the battlefield, right? Maybe you saw the video when it came from the battlefield. A lot of videos, when it was taking power, these people came from. That some of the soldiers they're on a regiment, right? When they go on the battlefield, they're on a tight regiment. So maybe when he became president, he loosened up on the regiment a little bit. So he put up a few weight. That don't mean he's not capable.
That's natural, bro. That's natural.
That's very
Momentum
natural.
and see what happened.
Yeah,
he's eating another chicken and guinea fowl, man.
I guarantee he's a black belt or something.
The Sahelian dishes are one of the best dishes.
I saw them training the other day. I saw Burkina Faso training the other day. And these were women. Bro, you should have seen the martial arts that they were doing. They were taking their gun apart blindfolded. Okay? They were taking their gun apart and putting it together blindfolded. You see what I'm saying? So, please. Them people's being well trained, bro. They ready.
They're right. I want to come marry one.
Nah?
Look, let me say this, right?
Let me tell you something. I'm taken for a long time already, bro. But yeah,
you married to Jamaican, Delroy?
Yeah, just happen to be Jamaican.
Because you know they ain't gonna go for no type of second wife. They're gonna knock that frying pan outside your head. But I'm saying, look, the Senegalese people, right? You think are they a radical revolutionist who probably wants to cut all ties with France? You think that sentiment is ripe in Senegal, or you think maybe more people are okay with the status quo rather than switching everything up like what Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali did?
People at the bottom, people who place these people in power, I don't think they would mind. But like I said when in my introduction, I said the oligarch. There's a lot of status quo system in Senegal. Those would not want that. Maybe the military would not even want that. So it's going to be difficult for Sonko to implement a program like that. So I mean, it's a wait and see, man. Senegal is known for not taking those radical positions. That's for them.
You know what? You know their first president, Sonko. What Sonko said? Sonko said it was not a time for Africa to even gain independent. He wanted the African to remain under the French rule, for France to develop Africa before they turn over power. So he think it was too premature for African countries to take over.
Right.
That is classical mentality to a lot of Senegalese. And besides that, Bassirou headquarters is in Senegal.
Oh yeah.
So it's no comparison Burkina Faso or Senegal. They have different mentalities.
CD, in slavery days here, Harriet Tubman could have saved more people that was enslaved, but they didn't want to. You understand? I mean, that really happened. She said it.
No, but you see,
they didn't know they were enslaved. They didn't know they were enslaved.
All the Senegalese former presidents. Sonko just died recently. He died in France, right?
Oh yeah.
Abdou Diouf, he is in Senegal, right? Where is he? In Senegal. So these people, they are more. They are too. You can't compare Burkina Faso with Senegal. They are so intertwined with the French people. It's no way that you can separate. It's very difficult.
That's a fact. Even when the president stepped down, they usually go to France to retire, to live, and most of them have snow bunnies. Just look it up.
Yeah.
It's nobody's. Yeah.
Do you know what? Do you know what?
Hey,
do you know
Sonko,
what?
you know
Same thing with the
Sonko,
English too. Same thing with
Sonko
English.
right name is real name is
No,
not
ain't no
Sonko.
difference.
He took the French people name. His name is
Right.
not Sonko. He took the French people name because he was
Right.
there with the
You
French.
see,
Yeah.
not all this, not there's one. Listen, when the French came there, there's one ethnic group that they side with because they always do that, and they become more closer to the French, and they have, then eventually most of the Senegalese and all ethnic group have a big diaspora in France, and a lot of them do really well in France. Let's make that clear. Also, they do
No,
really well in France, and they
beside
have
the
a very
Malian
educated.
in France, beside the Malians are the one the Malians. You have the Malians. I think the Senegalese and the Ivorians come second and third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But let me ask you a
in
question,
what?
Nata. Yeah.
Okay.
In,
So
in,
they're very
in
different.
French, yeah, in French.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. What's the difference between a Tukulur and a Fulani?
Very good question. The Tukla and the Fula are almost the same. But I think the Tukla is, if I'm not mistaken, the Tukla is between the Sere and the Fula. Is a subgroup. There's so many subgroup of Fulani in West Africa you don't know about.
Yeah.
It's a subgroup.
So we can.
And
So the Tukulur are just like what Sankara was, Silmimo, like.
They mix race.
Okay.
They mix race. Mixed race. Yeah.
Okay, but can a Tukulur say I'm a Fula, or a Fula can say I'm a Tukulur, or it's just it's a distinct.
You can.
Two nights you spoken, have you?
Yeah, you have, yeah.
All right, let me pass it up, Prince. Go ahead, Prince.
Oh, hello there, Dan.
Yes, St. James. Yes.
Welcome, brother. Welcome back.
Thank you.
No show as usual. Listen, I love it. Big hi to
Mr.
Guy
Money
is drunk. He's drunk again. Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Disclaimer. Let's be respectful. Okay, let's be respectful.
That's all right, Dan. It's I'm off.
Dennis, we know we are respectful to Big Louis. Big Louis is a big
love
bro.
Louis, man.
We respect Big Louis.
It's my
respect to you, Louis. Respect to you, man.
That's better, I think, James. That's better.
Yeah, right.
We can have our differences, but if there's one thing me and Africa have learned from England is that you can pick up some good habits, like good parliamentary argument where you can flush out your differences, but still come together under one umbrella. Okay.
Right.
What I'm seeing that I'm really happy about with the example being given in Senegal is how I see that we should resolve our problems. And that is through democratic ways, through dialogue. Okay. If the brother is not pulling his weight, the man in charge has got a right to get rid of him. And I think he's doing the right thing. And it's nice to see it being done in a democratic fashion. That means the young men, who are many in Africa, don't get any fancy ideas about overthrowing a good leader, like the way Nkrumah was overthrown. Don't get any ideas of that, because we need to move forward as a nation. When all the power is grabbed, we got to develop our nation. Okay, we got to build infrastructure, industrialize, so our young people can have jobs, so we don't have to come to the white man's land and work for the white man. Okay, this is why I don't support. I'm not against AES. This is why I don't support anyone that picks up a gun this day and age, unless you're doing it against Museveni in Uganda and the guy called Kagame. Unless you're doing that, I don't want to see anything else but what's happening in Senegal. It's beautiful to see. You can iron out your differences without the gun situation. Okay.
So how come England and America and France pick up guns?
Because they are the devil the Bible speaks of. Okay, that's how the white man exercises. Right, that's how the white man exercises his power.
That's a good answer, Louis.
They are the gods. Listen, have you realized God has starved them of men? There's no men among them. We had Joe Biden. Now we got a reality show leader called Trump, who can't even win a war.
I won't accept anybody slander, by the way.
Yeah. The time is, things are moving, times are different. We as black people got to smell the coffee. Okay. I'm glad, okay, whatever the results, that the AES are getting rid of the cogs that was keeping France embedded in Africa. Cut them off. But let's do it democratically in Senegal as well. Cut them off. Okay, let them know without any shadow of a doubt, we ain't gonna open our arms for them to fuck us no more. In Ghana, they've got to get hold of, they've got to get a hold of every single gold mine. If any president in Ghana stands up and gives a 30-year gold mine to some racist white South Africans who are telling us to get the fuck out of their country, giving them power, giving them our money, again, there's going to be warfare in Ghana. Okay, so there is a revolution taking place in Africa. We're going to do it in a different way, but let us realize that we don't set a bad precedent for kids to come and overtake us later on. So that's why I'm encouraging the AES, as soon as they can, do what the guy done in Guinea. Get on the election trail, right? I'm begging the AES, get on the election trail so you don't give a chance for those fucking French to have an excuse to come in and fucking do, and then
They can't come nowhere though.
Hey,
They can't
you
come.
got to
They
chill
gonna
with the
get
F
killed if they
bombs,
come.
Louis. You got to chill with the F bombs.
Louis, let's show the F bomb, please. Thank you.
Yeah,
sorry,
they
I'm
can't
sorry.
come nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
Louis. France can't come to
sorry.
Burkina Faso and do nothing.
Right. Well,
They
that's
done.
good. That's good.
Louis, if they stop sending food soldiers to us, if all these neighboring countries comply, you will see the AES make that pivot, right? For the time being,
I
we
understand.
can't be under attack and go a different route. You've seen what happened in Mali. If there was a civilian president in Mali, right? The international community would have pressured a civilian president to cut a deal with these terrorists. That's a fact.
Yep,
I understand.
that's true.
Because we have a military leader who stand on the square. The first thing they did, if you watch the video from in Mali, right, when the thing happened, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, he met all the ambassadors, including the United States ambassador, right? They were all in the room, and he told them, "We will not negotiate." He told them that.
I agree with that.
So people in the Sahel, they want what everybody else want. We're not different than Senegal. I don't want a coup in Senegal. I care for Senegal. I want the two guys to to figure it out so they can advance Senegal. I'm not against, I don't even want to pick between the two. I don't even want to pick between the two because I don't want to be divisive. I want the Senegalese people to make that decision, right? Us in the Sahel, we don't want to impose our ways on others, right? So that's what we did. We knew what we did. So it's not for everybody. If that's your route, everybody who decide to go to this route, that's their decision to make. We're not going to impose on nobody, but for us, we knew that we needed this. We needed it.
Yeah. And also Prince Louis, when you think Prince Louis, look how hypocritical. They're so hypocrite. Okay, they're hypocritical. When you look at what they're doing for example, in Ukraine, they haven't mentioned an election in Ukraine for how many years? They haven't said Zelensky have an election. Why are they telling the AES to actually have an election? That's what I'm trying to say.
No, what it is, I don't want AES to listen to when they say to have election, but I just want the AES to copy what the guy done.
The farmer who is in power in the AES at the moment, the farmer who are empowered in the AES is an old system. They are taking care of insecurity. When they deal with the insecurity, I believe that man that you see like what the guy in Guinea did. The guy in Guinea is not at war. He formed an election. He done it legitimately. The people voted him, and he's ruling the country, and everyone is in peace. Okay,
that was not election. He excluded almost everybody from that election. He's a disaster.
Leave my uncle Dumwe alone, bro.
If I was to support Dumwe, I would support him because he's from the same tribe. But he's a disaster.
But I know you would. I know. I would not support anybody from my. Listen, CD. I would never support anybody because they come from my tribe. I don't do that anymore. That's a very low IQ way of thinking. Because that's how. If you look at most people who are in government, in Africa, their tribes suffer the most. They suffer from xenophobia. Because anything that president do, they blame their entire ethnic group, and they try to become docile. They don't actually get to do anything. They think, because our president, our guy is a tribal man in power, so we don't have to do anything. And they have some little government jobs. And when the guy come out of power, they become victimized. So really, truly, I don't support any of that bullshit. I think if you ask me, most Africans. If you ask me, the smaller tribes in Africa should be the ones that actually in power in Africa. All the major tribes should just sit back because all these tribal issues need to be gone, and leadership should be in competence, not about the tribe or religion. You understand?
If I were to support someone in Ivory Coast, I would support Ouattara. But Ouattara is in a full term. Ron Babu also is the real Pan-African president. But he is not from the Central. Ouattara is not from the Central. But we're not supporting
No,
because he's a complete
no,
dictator. He's been there 4
exactly,
terms. That's the fact.
exactly.
Are
So
you
don't
calling?
support
Are you
someone
calling
because from the
Ouattara? Are
Central.
you calling Ouattara the president of Ivory Coast City?
What's that?
Macron is the president of Ivory Coast, not
What?
Ouattara.
Yeah, whatever it is. But he's worse than dictator. You know?
Ivory Coast has two presidents,
Yeah.
and one of them is Macron. Alassane Ouattara is just the face,
It's
That's
the
it.
same thing with Guinea too. Well, Macron is the one that controlling Dumbuya. It's the
Oh,
same
really?
thing. Yes.
Not really. I don't think so. I don't think
No, I
so.
don't think so with Guinea. I think Guinea has had a long separation from France since the days of Sekou Touré.
Albert, that this is over. I'm telling you, when you want to
Really?
see was dead, completely different. This guy wife is French. He's a
There is still a bit,
citizen.
City is a little, not all the way, but I think Dumbuya can make his own decision. But the French are still, they still get there. It's a little bit.
Yeah, in
Guinea.
control of Guinea.
Yeah.
You know how this guy, when they were throwing, when they were doing the coup, he went very close to the French embassy because he's a French citizen, right? He sent those boys to go and kill all the national army or bodyguard of the former president. He killed almost 200 of these guys. They couldn't even get their body. And that's the time he imposed himself into power. He's a French citizen. This guy he's worse than any French president, any Guinean president you ever see.
Yeah, the guy's occupying our land right now, CD. Your brother's go talk to your brother. He's occupying our land in Lofa. trying to get out of Liberia. That guy is a thug, bro. Besides being the president of Guinea, he's a straight up bully and a thug, man.
Is. This guy is a former pusher. He's a drug dealer. That's why when he was in Holland, he left from Holland because he was a pusher in Holland, right? Then he went to France. When he went to France, then he joined the liaison office. He's a liaison officer, like the missionaries that the French sent.
French Legion.
Right.
Look,
That's how he found his way.
Look, the guy made Liberians to make a recruitment for our military, man. We got so shook. We said, you know what? We're doing a recruitment. We need more people in the army.
He did the same thing to Sierra Leone. He went and took land from Sierra Leone, and then he went and took Guinea land, and then he fighting everybody. He doesn't survive without the drugs. That's why he's dying right now. He gets serious cancer. He's dying. You can see how he lost weight. He got brain cancer.
Is it a full of people that put that juju on him? Bury 200 cows so that he died within the next year.
Oh God. I don't think they would do that.
You know the vibes, Africa. You know the vibes.
What's the part of Guinea that is close to Liberia? Like, what's the part of it?
Masanta, Gegedu.
Lufa.
Yeah. Man, I want Dumbuya to take that part, man. I want Dumbuya to go ahead and take that part, bro.
Okay.
Is that where Elvis is from? Is that where Elvis is from?
No, I'm from the opposite side. We never lost territory, man.
I just want you to become just a Guinean, like
my people border the Ivory Coast, and the people on the other side of the Ivory Coast are all my people. Bagbo is my people, so you know.
Do you know?
So the Bete are your people, right?
Yeah, the Bete are crews. The Bete, the Geres, the Wobe, the Dida, the Nios.
Do you know Ivory Coast, Guinea, and Sierra Leone, Liberia? Very soon they will be one country. The thing is, they actually are working on something totally different to the rest of the region.
And I can see Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, and Ivory Coast. Yes, Guinea. I'm not too sure about Guinea, man.
No, there's a lot of work going on between Sierra Leone and Liberia right now. A lot of work, like trying to integrate the people. A lot of work
going on. Taking people land because they think that they have strong military. They're taking land from Sierra Leone. They're taking land from.
My dingo boys want to pull forth the ass on us, CD. You got to go talk to them, man.
They got you shook, man. They got you shook over there.
Yeah, man, we got to recruit more. So we had our vice president. Our vice president said we got 3 guys that can destabilize Guinea, but Those guys are old rebel, man. Their
No,
days
no.
are
I mean,
past,
they
man.
all now. I don't think they can fight Guinea right now. So that's why they're recruiting the military. And in Liberia right
Look,
now,
we
they
don't
need
need
2,000
we don't
men. They
need
need
that.
at least
We don't need
2,000.
that. We don't need that. We don't need
That's
that.
why
We
they're
don't need to fight
recruiting
each
right
other.
now. They're
We don't need to
rebuilding the
fight each other.
military anyway.
The Mano River Union need to stay peaceful, need to stay intact. The Mano
No,
River Union is a lot.
it's
But
gonna
TD, I got a question for you, TD.
Yeah.
Say James, I
If
begged for him today.
Dumbuya
I begged for him.
if Dumbuya, God forbid, passes away, right? Who do you think is next in line? You think it's going to be another strongman, or you think there's a
Well,
election that's
he
going to
got
be held?
he got some. This guy Bala Samurai. He's
Yeah.
the same from the same tribe. They got Idi Amin or Boubacar Kamara, and then they have Amara Kamara. So they have a lot of people that line up behind him. But I think those guys they're going to fight him on themselves.
What
But
about
I think the
Bauri, man?
person that likely can be the
Why you
president
didn't
was
mention
Bala Samurai.
Bauri?
Huh?
Why you didn't mention Bauri, man?
Bauri, no, Bauri is just the prime minister. He just put Bauri there because Bauri is the Fula man to brainwash the Fulani to say my prime minister is Fula, but the reality is he just using Bauri. And a lot of Fulani don't
Yeah.
even support Bauri because he's a dark skin Fulani too. So they think he's a Fula John, you
You,
know. So it's a
you
lot
think
of
you think
people.
he got that? You think he got that cancer because he's a heavy smoker? Because that dude smoke a
He's
lot.
doing drugs. He's a big cocaine user.
Jeez,
That's why
man.
he got
Uh,
brain
I,
cancer.
Who's a drug?
I,
Who smoke? What are you talking about?
Dumbuya.
Dumbuya,
Mamadou Dumbuya.
that
Are you
dude smokes
serious?
a lot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Every Guineans know
I don't
that.
know. I don't know. I don't know. I never knew that, but
I'm telling you
now I
now,
know.
every Guineans know that very well.
Yeah.
We got Bang. We got Bang on the panel, man. You got to pass the mic to Bang. Let him
I
speak.
seriously think if anything happens to him, people in the country will not stand up for another military rule in Guinea anymore. I think that era is done.
No,
And
no, but
it'll be finished.
who can stop them? Because first of all,
It'll be it'll be
the guy who making to do this coup d'état, he was ambassador in Cuba. They call Abubakar Kamara. He's a defense minister right now. So the one they call Idi Amin, right?
Sidiki Kamara,
Yes, Sidiki
Abubakar
Abubakar
Sidiki.
Sidiki Kamara. So the
Yeah.
president was afraid of him because he was concerned that this guy going to overthrow him. So he sent him to Cuba as an ambassador. So then he
Mm.
recommended Dumuya. That
Look,
Dumuya is
look,
our trouble
look,
boy. He's a liaison
look,
officer in
look.
France.
If
Please
anything
recruit
happened
him.
to let me tell you one. Let me break it down to you based on my what I see from the outside. If anything happened to him, the army, with the three division of the military in the army in Guinea, they will fight each other. That's what will happen, and that's why I don't
Yeah,
want nothing to happen to
No,
Dumuya.
no, no. I don't.
just
I
said
don't
that.
think
The
so
special,
because the thing
okay,
is,
let
the
me make
military
this
is
point.
dominated by the same tribe, right?
No. It doesn't. They evenly split. They now listen. They now okay. The special force is dominated by mother tribe, your tribe, okay. And then
Yeah.
if you go to the general army, is really spread out. And these are the army that been oppressed, that feel really oppressed in Guinea. And these are the army that have enjoyed power the longest in Guinea. That's the normal military Guinea army. And then
Ye-
you
ye-
have the you understand?
Yeah,
And that's
but
the army that
all the people that Dumuya been killing, all these people are his tribal people, right? Sadiba that he killed
from his
is a
own
rep-
people, yeah,
so all
from
his
his own
own
Guys,
tribe.
people.
can we let Ahmed come on and speak, man?
So
He's been on the panel.
this army business in Guinea, I'm telling you, it will, because they have split between the Guinea army themselves. They're not united. That's the problem, and that's why I'm hoping nothing happened to him, because it might turn into a big turmoil between the military themselves. They'll fight each other, like what you see happen in Sudan.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Bang.
go ahead and bang.
We hope you pay your N-word tariff,
Miss
man.
Miss Saloon brother, howdy body.
Yeah, I'm fine, man. How you say?
Yeah, everybody fine. Oh,
Man,
tell God
man,
thank you.
yeah, alhamdulillah, man. But anyway, my bad, man. How's everybody, man? Um,
Yeah,
I
we all
said
good.
this before. Was it a year ago on this panel? And I mentioned that Jimmy Faye, he was going to betray Sonko. I said this because when you look at this, certain people are meant to be leaders. Certain people are meant to be leaders. Certain people are meant to be followers. Certain people are meant to just lead, but don't shake up things. You know, you can see it. It's just like, you know, sports. If you are into sports, or like if you're into a corporation as well, you know, you understand me, right? Certain people are just meant to be certain things. So if you're a CEO or something, you gotta have the right people. If you want shake up, if you want just stability, if you want, you know, whatever. But at the end of the day, you gotta identify the right people, you know, for the right job. You know, Diomaye Faye, to me, from day one, when he traveled to France, the way he was speaking, the way he was, you know, talking after that, I was like, nah, this man is gone. This man is gone. I came up here, a lot of people, you know, said I was lying, I was just making stuff, I was just this and that, right? You know, in life, when somebody you know, speaking the truth, right? It takes time for you to see the reality, who was right, who was wrong. Not like weeks or months. Sometimes it takes like a couple months, like for you to actually see, oh, this mother effer was actually right. You understand me, right? So so this, you know, this whole thing comes back to the IMF. The IMF, you know, the last time I heard, you know, Senegal has oil and gas, and I think they had just discovered oil, but they do have, you know, a great amount of gas, right? So we already know what the IMF is. The IMFs are like cartel finance. That's really what they are. They just, you know, cartel finance. That's exactly what they are. So at the end of the day, and you know, the young people, because you know, if a country is not doing good, you can tell by the young people. You know, the young people need change. I mean, the young people was voting for change. They want something to flip upside down because, you know, the average Senegalese will travel around the world, you know, going to the border of like Libya, Morocco, dying in the water for a better life or soon for a better life, you know. So that's just tell you how, you know, the democracy that they had wasn't working because, you know, it was a benefit the average Senegalese. That's just facts. Because if it was, some of us would not be going to South Africa for a better life. We go up there right there in Senegal. Why go all the way, you know, all these other countries and end up in South Africa? There's no point when Senegal is up there. So then if the wonderful democracy in Senegal was working, man, my God, I would have had family members up there, a bunch of family members. Because it ain't too far. It's not too far at all. But, you know, obviously it wasn't working at all. That's why change was needed. It wasn't all like the traditional change. No, it needed change to, you know, to give the young people, you know, jobs and better opportunities and develop the country the right way. Because at the end of the day, most African countries, once you get out of the capital, it's really nothing, honestly speaking, because the money is not being used the way it's supposed to be used. And, you know, the IMF is a cartel. That's exactly what they are. And I think it was the same. It was just like how they try to do with, you know, with Kenya, you know, when the young people came out as well. And then William Ruto said, you know, okay, well, I'm not going to do it directly right now, but I'm going to do it little by little. So technically, you know, William Ruto is just giving up the country little by little. But, you know, before he wanted to do it all in hand, and then the young people came out. So I think, you know, Sonko, that's going to be an issue because somebody mentioned it. Because if the previous president, what's his name? Dang, I forgot. This Fuller guy. The previous president.
Macky Sall.
Yeah, Macky Sall. You know, Macky Sall.
Macky Sall is not Fuller. It's too close. No, it's too close. You know
No.
that.
He's
Not
a Fuller.
Fuller.
He's a Fuller. He's a Fuller. He is. Trust
That
me.
is wrong. I thought it was too
Yeah,
close.
he is. No. He
Okay.
is. A lot of Fuller over there are separated. They're not unified at all over there in Senegal. But Senegal, if you really do your homework, I think about 60% of Senegal are actually Fuller. But it's just they separated because of, you know, the French and everything, and then selfish and greediness that, you know, that everybody has within their own people. That's just how it is. But I think, right, because
They're not that big. If you bring all the subgroups together, yeah. But remember the Fuller as segments. The different
yeah,
subgroups of Fuller.
but that's why I keep saying there's a
Okay.
lot of tribes in Africa. It's the
Mm.
same people, but it's
Yeah,
just
it's true.
separated under
Okay.
clans.
With different
So to
names.
me,
Different names.
yeah. That's why I mentioned this before. There's no point
Mm.
of us, you know, because if your tribe is similar to this, you should come together. So then, because there's too
Mm.
many tribes. Honestly speaking, there's too
Yeah.
many tribes in my view. There's too many tribes. There's too many languages. There's too many languages. I don't care. I don't care. To me, that is not. You cannot sustain a continent with so many tribes and so many, different languages. I do not care. At the end of the day, the big fish got to consume the small fish. Nothing wrong with that. As long as you consume it to better the nation, I do not give a F. Because that same individual would live his country and go somewhere in Europe and then adapt completely to their culture. And then once they have a child, you wouldn't even know that child, his parent come from Africa. Because of that culture, the African culture or whatever his tribe is completely gone. So by the time that same child has another child, it's not even, you understand me, right? So that same father, that mother will be real proud. So what's the difference then? Oh, because you happy because of your child or your child that you have over there is doing good, making money, and at the same time, his child now is having families and everything. That's why you're happy, because everything is good financially. So then if you're doing the same thing within your country, ain't nothing wrong with the big tribes, the little tribes. As long as it's good. But I'm gonna bring it back to Senegal, right? Sonko has to be real careful, because now it's me versus you now. You understand me, right? Because Sonko still has the popularity with the people as well. And at the end of the day, 2029, it's not too far at all, because 2026 is basically done. So, like, what type of charges, makeup or something? Because we already know how African politicians are. They will bring up all type of false charges against you and say, "Oh, you touched somebody or you raped somebody as well." So that's completely, BS. And then also there was an incident when you had that French white guy that was touching little boys, right? So from my understanding, I got this from somebody. In Senegal, they have a bunch of people that was into that stuff. And then some of these people were very powerful people as well. Some of them were hired within the government as well. I think Sonko wanted to expose these people completely before they passed that LGBT bill thing. So besides with the IMF, the drug lord cartel, because that's what they are financially. I don't care what nobody says. Just go look it up. But and then that situation as well, because for you to really investigate that French guy, you had to investigate all the higher people within Senegal community as well, and within the elites as well. So I think Diomaye Faye did not want to do that at all. So and then when you look at the way they wanted to govern the country, it was more of a Pan-Africanist. Diomaye Faye did not want to do it. Diomaye Faye just wanted stability the way it's been, and then pretend as if the country is okay. But then the country is not okay at all, because if it was, we'll be happy for Senegal. Any country that's developed the way it is, you got them right. I'm gonna be happy as hell, because I know at the end of the day, you doing it for your people. So if your people are happy, I'm happy as well. I want my country to copy you. But if your people are not happy, if the other people are not happy, they flee in their countries, you can't come up here and tell me that, Senegal is doing great. To you, that's great, because you want Senegal to be under, you understand me, right? The so-called West.
Yeah.
So I think,
Yeah, but Bang, sorry to cut you off. Do you think it's a bit fishy? Yeah, do you think it's a bit fishy? This happened just after that Kenya conference with Macron.
No, it was already dead by then. It was just when it was going to happen.
Mm.
You understand me,
Because
right?
it's weird, isn't it? How you were there in Kenya.
No, forget about the conference, like the African summit, right?
Okay.
For me, at the end of the day, it was already going to happen. Either Sonko stepped down or Diomaye Faye fire him publicly.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of things happening behind closed doors with these two people when they meet with these foreign countries as well, with type of deals and type of interests as well. You understand me, right? And especially like when it comes to the tax things as well, and then the deal that the previous president passed when it comes to the gas deal, and then when you discover oil, that's two different things now. You already know, the Westerners, they fiends for that. It's like a drugs to them. So you understand me, right? So so whatever deal, Sonko was trying to present to the president did not want to oblige to it, because for some reason it did not benefit the Westerners. And then at the same time, that's why I mentioned, because of the country was in in a budget crisis. So you have IMF now. We already know what IMF is. You understand me, right? So it looks like it was either gut the system out or just build stability and lie to your people. So I think Sonko did not want to stand by that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And then
Yeah,
also
I think I was. Yeah, sorry.
it comes back.
Sorry to cut you.
Yeah. It comes back. I'm gonna be done. Yes, because I've been talking. My bad, man. And then it comes back to the AES, because I keep saying these three countries 4 years ago, the geopolitics was completely different. These three countries are your neighbors, similar people, similar culture as well, to a certain extent, religion as well. So you understand me, right? So then it makes more sense for you to be, partnership with these three countries. But we already know what's really going on when it comes to geopolitics. So I think Sonko should have been a more favoritism, like when it comes to the AES. But, Diomaye Faye now, he's not against them, but he doesn't want to be a revolution. He just wants stability. Because to me, the way I see him, the way he presents to himself, and then when I look at him, the way he speaks and talks, he doesn't have the killer instinct. He just don't.
Yeah, it doesn't
He's
look
just a
that.
simple man that wants simple things. But to me, like, what I'm saying, like, Sonko built that party. That party was because of Sonko. So that's why he was locked up. And I think while he was locked up, he got backstabbed with the other guy. Yeah, go ahead. My bad, go ahead.
No, I agree with you. I think the one is more Pan-African, the other one is more pragmatic. He just like to do the bread and butter issue, and I think this is where they fell into. And I believe Macky Sall also probably got a hand behind this, because as he said,
Of course, no, 100%. Let me tell you why. Man, I'm sorry to cut you off, right? Macky Sall, because you have to understand how the West operates. When you study the West operates, to me, they operate to benefit them. Nothing wrong with that. This is what I want black people around the world to understand. Your system is supposed to benefit you. You understand me, right? If it benefits you, there's certain things you must do.
But that's selfish of Macky Sall, though. Macky Sall already been a president in Senegal twice.
Check this out, right? Do you know how they reward him? Do you know how they reward him? I think he's about to be the General Assembly of UN. A useless organization.
Yeah,
go ahead. Let me shut up. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. So he already been a president twice, and they managed to let him get away with murder because they let him get away with all that corruption. If I was Macky Sall, I would just humble myself and just leave these boys alone. Let them do what they're doing and carry on their legacy, instead of having to come back and try to hunt, because now he's creating separation. It's creating instability in the government, and that's going to cause problem in the economy. It's going to affect the local people in Senegal, and then, what I mean? It's like, what has he got to gain from that? And if he's supposed to be he's supposed to be fighting to become the Secretary for the United Nations, so what business has it got to do with Senegalese governing Senegal?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like what?
No, I understand, but the way you put it, it's like you have to understand these people are in some type of into a group. So it's like when they keep reward, you got Macky Sall has investments probably in that country as well, right? Macky Sall has assets in France. So you understand me, right? So so technically he has to reward the people that gave him power. How do you reward the people that gave you power? By doing what they tell you to do. If you go against it now, and then they're gonna remove you.
That makes sense.
That's just the system. That's just the system. So so to me, once you keep looking at it and then you keep studying it, and I'm like, okay, why the West wants to reward you and give you, the UN, like whatever it is, right? I'm like, okay, well, that means you're doing exactly what they want, because the UN is completely controlled by the West.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Actually, Macky Sall is of Tuklo descendant. His father Amadou Sall was.
He's a Pulo.
He's
a Pulo. Trust me.
From Futatoro. He's from Futatoro. Yeah. But his mother is actually Kumba Timbo, From it's Mother Sere from it's Mother Sere. His father is Tukla.
He's a pull up. Trust me, man.
Okay.
I say about 60% of Senegalese are pull up. It was the French that gave the power to the Wolof.
But even the Wolof are heavily mixed with Fuller. Even the Wolof are heavily mixed with Fuller people. If you ask most Wolof people, they'll tell you their grandparents are Fuller or the other way around. So it doesn't make a lot of difference, to be honest. They're all the same. They're all mixed up.
Yeah, but either way, at the end of the day, the agenda is to better the citizens' life.
Oh no, listen, there's one thing about Senegalese people. Let me tell you one thing. One thing about Senegalese people, you cannot put them in a tribalistic mindset. They are not. These are one of the least tribalistic people. They're like Sierra Leoneans. They don't care about tribes. They're very nationalistic people. And like even when I was in the restaurant, most of the people that supporting Sonko were arguing for him. Were full of people. They don't like Diomaye Faye, what he did, and they were arguing with other people, other group. So it's like it's all to do ideas.
But somebody mentioned with the fishes. The fishes, it's not because of the Chinese. It's actually the Europeans. The Europeans get majority of the fishes in that water. So a lot of things connect to men. A lot of things. It's like if you don't really investigate, these people are not choking Africa because of just to choke Africa. They're choking Africa because of what? It empowered them. They have a reason why. That's why. Honestly speaking, that's why you see France. France is not just trying to walk away for free. This fight is not over with the AES with France, man. I'm telling y'all, Macron has what a year and a half left, whatever it is, like before the next presidency comes in France. Macron will be more dangerous the next year. I'm telling you, from now on, and then whatever time he has, Macron will be 10 times more dangerous because you know why? He doesn't have to run for election no more. So he's not gonna. He's gonna be so desperate. He's gonna try anything to make sure that legacy won't be tied to him. Because at the end of the day, if the AES succeed, right, 100%, right, the legacy of France's downfall will be painted straight to Macron. So Macron is gonna be the person when history says, "Oh, how did France become second world and then a third world?" They're going to say, who was the president? So Macron is going to be right there. So I think Macron is going to try to do anything from now on until his time ends. He's going to take it to a different level now. You're going to see they're going to be more direct involved with these, so-called mercenaries, freedom fighters. They're going to be much more direct. And you could tell because you know why? They swiftly changed their name from terrorists to mercenary, to freedom fighters. So I think as time goes on now, the next couple of months, when the French government, because I don't want to say the French government, I want to say the EU, because that's the governing body. You know what I'm saying? Because you understand me, right? A lot of people decided to say French, but me, I like to say the EU. But either way, right? They're going to be much more desperate because Macron do not want his legacy because of the downfall of France. He was the president. He's going to be much more dangerous, and he's going to be much more direct involved into it, much more directly involved into it now compared to any time before. But I appreciate what the AS is doing, with the airstrikes as well, because I had told somebody support what the opposite side. I'm like, look, these guys I made a mistake because you don't have no air support. If you don't have no air support, half the battle, like not even half, I say about 70% of the battle is already gone. And because you understand me, right? You don't have no air support, you open, and then how you gonna get your resource? How you gonna get your ammo? You understand me, right? And then and then you're dealing with drones as well. And then you're dealing with you're dealing with a civilian drone as well. Looking at you almost 24 hours. And then knowing exactly how you get your like your weapons and stuff like that. Boom. And then you're wide open in the sky. So it's basically it was a failure until you had an air defense system, which it never had. So that's why, as you see right now, they're not even talking about what's going on, before like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, they were very excited. Now it's like, oh, you understand me, right? Because they've been getting hammered in the sky. When I say hammered in the sky ridiculously. Yeah, go ahead.
I see what you mean. No, but you see, the problem is right in West Africa. We don't have leaders who have that. Listen, this West African region that we call the coastal regions, they're always going to be dominated by the West for a long time. The only hope we have for sovereignty is the inner lands. I already said that. You will put Sonko in Senegal today. I guarantee you, the West will find a way to get through him. I don't know why. There's something. I don't know if it's to do with the population that's there, but it's just not feasible. If we go back to history, most of those leaders that we have in that region are always been the victim of the West, but at the same time, they've always been working with the West more than anyone else.
Can you,
So
Al, can you expound on that a little bit? That's what I had in mind today to discuss with you. But why,
yeah,
like people used to say, we fought the specific group, in the Western world, and come to
mm,
find out they're in a relationship with them now. What do you think? Like, let's talk
yeah,
about a part of not all the Tuaregs, like you see some of the Tuaregs in Mali and in Africa. You can see that happening most of the time. We praise ourselves for being the one that fought these people,
yeah.
and in the year 2026, we are still the same one wanting them to be with us. Like, I don't get it. Like, what do you think?
It, it is a funny, really. It's like a abuser relationship. When someone have a good, when someone been having a relationship with somebody that abuses them, and that keep coming back and say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean, what I did. Can you give me another chance? It's the same thing like what you see Macron is doing in Kenya. He definitely knew, he's messed up in Africa. The French, the West they know what they've done, to Africa for so long, right? So, time and time they bring different summits, they will find different ways. They'll be like, oh, okay, maybe it's our government, we're not doing it right this time. Can you just let our companies go in instead so they could mine, but based on your own time? Or can you, instead of letting our companies go, can you let maybe they'll go to the neighboring country, like, or maybe they'll go to another entity like the Chinese and go in directly with the Chinese to come and it's like it's that constant gaslighting what they do to the African people. As it's divide and rule systems, and it's very tiring. For most of this, trust me, it's not easy. Sometimes I understand some of the leaders why they actually, they fall victim to these people because the reason why that is because they don't have any strategy. They're not speaking with one voice. That's one of the problems. Because if the entire African leaders, speak with one voice, they have, meeting outside the cameras, and have some kind of organization that's actually like a secret society organization and they have think tanks, they have deep in depth of what's going on. They can counter a lot of these things, but they can't do it like the way they're doing it right now. And unless if they are working with the enemies of the enemy, if you know what I mean, like what Israel is doing.
Do you
Yeah,
think
but
some of the
oh,
country
Yeah,
go
wants
ahead.
to settle old scores with other countries, or what? Based on what
so
you're
say that again.
observing, or is that?
Somebody.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, go on,
Yeah,
Sanjay.
you
No, I
good.
was
You
just
good.
saying
You good.
that.
You good.
Okay, based on what you observed, do you think
Yeah,
some countries want to settle old score with other countries, or some countries just want to stay out of the issues because they felt like you know, things have happened to them and no one helped, and the best way
yeah,
to be out of it is to just remain within themselves and not help. Do you think
yeah,
that's the
yeah,
case?
yeah. That's exactly the case. They think, well, when I was going through my stuff, nobody came around to help.
Mhm.
So why would I get involved? Because if I do, I might get into trouble myself. Because the master will get angry at me. So why would I do that? But the thing is, when the master finish with that country that you refuse to help, the master is gonna come for you next, and they're gonna go for the other one next, and it's never gonna end. So that's the reason why I think the entire West Africa should be one block. I don't think Africa is ever going to unite. I think Africa as a continent would never unite. This Pan African thing that we talk about sometimes it's just a fantasy,
Um,
bro.
no,
I think
no,
the West,
no. I won't go. Um, um, I won't go to that extent. The way you say Africa would never unite. This Pan African thing is a fantasy.
if it's going to
I would never
unite,
say that
you have
or
to
even
be
do that.
you have to be blocks first. You have to be like blocks. You have to have
No, no, of
um,
course, of course, of course. No, of course, because let me tell you why. Africa is too huge. It's too massive. So to me, the block that you are
But
referring to,
but how
it would
can you
be
unite?
like
Okay, how can you unite? How can you unite with those? For example, like for example, we listen. We might have our own issues, in the Sahel, like between our own tribal groups or drum. Because we had let not get it twisted. We had loads of issues in the past. Okay, we had our tribal wars, we had our tribal differences, we had our empires who against another's empire. But look, we find a way around it. We came together as people. We actually intermarried. We lived in um, we have that success. We live in peace for hundreds of years. Okay, without us having we intermarried. Like me and you, we both have different ethnic group in us. So if you look, we do a genetic test during those periods. We can't even know exactly how many groups we have. I have Mandingo. I'm half full and half Mandingo. Okay, and I guarantee you, if you check your own bloodline, you will have Mandingo in you. There's not a lot of full people that don't have Mandinka bloodline. Just like not a lot of Mandinka don't have full bloodline. We're just destined to be together. We always have been together, as people. Okay, but however, if you look at those brothers in the north, like the Tuaregs or the Barbers, or these people who came to settle in the north, how can they unite with these people? There's no way you're going to have a problem with these people. And one day you can say, oh, let's forget about this, because you don't have any reason to unite with them. You understand? Like us, for example, like from where you call Mauritania, if we take that place back to Mali, to Burkina Faso, all the way down to, to Nigeria, we have a reason to come together and unite and build a force. But can you say that to those in Algeria, in
no,
Mali?
no.
Sorry, in Algeria.
Yeah, but
Sorry, not Mali.
yeah,
In Morocco,
but
in
Africa,
Libya? No, you can't. You
Africa.
can't.
No, no, no. I understand what you're saying. Of course, when
Mm,
I say like I'm not trying to be against them or be some type of racism against the people that live in the north, right? I'm not. But at the end of the day, has to be realistic with myself. They
mm.
don't have like the same skin color as us. They don't have the same agenda as us. You understand me, right?
Agenda.
I
I
could
get
be
more
more
than
simple.
anything else. It's more
No,
to
hold
do with
on.
agenda.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah, yeah. 1 second, please.
mm,
I could be more sympathized with somebody that have the same similar look as me and the same similar skin color as me. You understand me, right?
mm.
Compared to
Yeah.
somebody that's far way more lighter than me and then most likely look more of like a Iran. You understand me, right?
Mm.
That's just how we operate as a human being. You understand? Just like how if you got stuck
This is
somewhere
not.
with a group of
It,
people.
we all got some form of bias in us, didn't we?
No,
We're
yeah,
natural
yes,
bias.
exactly. Even
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Even they
Whether you
do
like
as
it or
well.
not. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Exactly. They do
Even
that based
even
on skin color. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, but even they do as well. So I
Mm,
know that. So it's up to us to respect that,
mm,
right? Because
yeah.
when you respect something, you have to be very careful the way you go about it. Even though you do disagree with it, but respecting it is very important. So by us respecting their own agenda to benefit them, so we have to create our own agenda to benefit us. So that if we do, they must respect that. They can't just come. They can't just come to this, up in West Africa to the east, and then up in the south, and then do whatever they want, or come to Central Africa and do whatever they want. You,
Mm,
you understand me, right? Because end of the day, the agenda that we have set, the system that we have set, it's not
mm.
for them to just come in and then just explore us. You understand me, right?
Yeah.
But the system that
Yeah.
we have right now,
Mm,
they could just come in
mm,
and they explore us how they feel like, especially
mm.
Lebanese. You understand me, right?
Yeah.
Yo,
Oh yeah.
especially
Oh yeah.
Lebanese. Now you see Algeria, right? Algeria invited the Angola president, right? Algeria has a bunch of oil as well. They, they doing great things for their own country. Now, once it comes to oil, right, and as well, right. So then they invited that country over there in Angola, right. The Angola president came in. The agenda was they want the Angola president to do a deal with them. So then the Algerian citizens could come in out there and then do a partnership with the Angola oil, right, and stuff like that. You understand me, right? But then hopefully he doesn't. But if we had a system, you know what I'm saying, that operate much better, there's no need for the Angola president to go all the way in Algeria to discuss an oil deal. He could have just went to Nigeria. He could have just went to Kenya. He could have just went to Ghana, Liberia. You understand me, right? Benin, Togo. You understand? And then do a deal with some of these countries or some of these wealthy people. But instead, he has to go listen to the Algerian presidents, and most likely the Algerian president is trying to persuade Angola with the Algerian people, especially the wealthy people, for them to come and then do a business with them. You understand? But since we are not in a position of that, he has no choice but at least listen to the Algerian president. Because you look at West Africa right now, who do we have that's doing such a thing? Dangote. We need more Dangotes. If we had a couple of Dangotes, what the hell that president is going to go do in Algeria? He's going to say, no, I got to go with my brothers. Because my brothers and my sisters over here, we share more culture together. I can relate to them better. There's nothing wrong with that. Because at the end of the day, who you share culture that's similar with, and then who you relate to much better, is where your loyalty is definitely going to be. If you're a sincere person, that's just how it is. But but for them to come to you like that, you got to offer them something. What are we offering them? We only have one Dangote. We need to have so many of Dangotes.
Like Dangote.
That's the problem.
Look, like Ivory Coast, what you just mentioned. Dangote is the one that supply them, most of their stuff that they use right now. That's just in West Africa
That's
alone.
the problem. That's the problem.
That's a good thing.
You see how
listen, 1 second here. Why Dangote? Okay, why does Dangote does not supply the brothers in Niger and Burkina Faso and Mali? With these are countries who are actually needed the help the most. Why Dangote go to East Africa, helping them? Why do Dangote not offering to build a fertilizer company in the Sahel when you know there are a lot of people who are? Let me see. Listen, there's one thing I learned. Right? I noticed the Sultan, the eminent the Sultan of Sokoto, he had a bit of problem with the West. I believe these people are really evil, man. There was a time during the Ramadan month, in the fasting month, when the AES had problem, when the coup happened, when the ECOWAS was going to invade, the AES. I remember when he said to the Nigerian government, he said, please just lift all this food sanction and stuff like that for the people because they're going through a lot of tough time. And there was a lot of backlash he had for that. He had a lot of backlash for that. Because remember, he is like a religious leader in the entire Sahel, not only Nigeria, but like most of these Sahelian countries. Because remember, these religious people, they don't see politics. They just see their own people as their people, right? They don't look at this, or your AES or your ECOWAS or your they just want to look after the people who are the religious. Basically, yeah. Anyway, he helped that happen. Where food, aid went from different countries and transport, where custom were open, during those days, so people could actually have their fasting month. Because people remember the people in, you find Hausa people, you have Songhai people, all the Sahelian tribe, all over these tribe countries, from Burkina, Mali, Northern Nigeria, and Senegal, Ivory Coast. You're gonna find all of these ethnic groups there, regardless of their, they're still there, right? So why didn't he do some kind of help towards these people and say, look, these people are going through a tough time in the war. Why can't we just make it easier for them to get fertilizer company, some aid to go in, like Senegal, for example. Why can't Senegal open the borders their custom borders and say, look, let's help the brothers next door. Why can't Ghana help the make it easier, like free custom, for temporarily towards Burkina Faso while they're fighting the jihadists, and say, look, we're gonna send you free custom. You don't pay any food or any of that, even though I know they're using their ports. It's like these are how you get unity in a region. It's not about talking. Because these countries are going through what they're going through now. They're gonna if they manage to fight the battle and they win, they're never gonna be able to like the ECOWAS again, like the coastal states. They're never gonna be able to trust them because they can say when things were hard, you turn your back on me, and now things are getting better. Why do you expect me to help you? Because the table might turn one day, bro. Because remember years ago, in basically in years ago, it was to be Liberia, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast that used to be in war. These Sahelian countries were really peaceful. So what comes around, man. You gotta be careful.
Yeah, but yeah. Just like you mentioned, right? How come Dangote
Mm,
is not doing nothing with the AES, right? And all these things, right? But
mm,
let's be honest with ourselves, right? Look at the picture
mm,
much more wider, right? Like a country like Nigeria, right? That discovered oil
mm,
in like whatever it was, I think in the 60s or in the 50s, right? Okay. They couldn't like
mm,
to their own government structure, right? They couldn't build their own refinery. It
mm,
wasn't because of they wasn't capable. It was because of the structure of the government, the elites within the government as well, right? That their job was to make sure they didn't build a refinery. You understand me, right? So when you look
mm,
at these elites, where they attached to, where their money is, like where they store their money. They store their money in Western countries. Like where they go to school at. Their kids go to school at 10. Where they have like mansions and houses in the same West. For you to
mm,
control this world, like for you to dictate this world, because the West, they want supremacy in this world.
mm,
For you to control that supremacy, right? You have to control energy. You have to control that. So they made sure Nigerian government, Nigerian elites, their parties wasn't about building a refinery.
mm,
You understand me, right? So for years
yeah.
upon years, they kept on making excuses, stealing the money, recycling the money back to the Westerners, and then act like the Nigerians wasn't capable. Until Dangote and some of his investors, they got real serious and say, okay, you know what? Let's build our own oil refinery. He had to go through a lot. A month ago, this man almost cried on live TV. Imagine a man that's worth billions of dollars that came
Mm.
from a family that was already developed, because he came from a wealthy family as well. So Dangote never suffered, but Dangote never talked down on poor people. You never hear Dangote talking down on poor people.
Listen, when do you know what? Do you know what?
No,
When yeah, no, he
but you
don't.
understand what I'm trying to say, right? Yeah.
Mm, mm,
So that was an interview, right? The man almost
mm,
cried because it looked like everything was going to destroy. So all that time, all that money he put in was going to completely get destroyed, but it didn't though. So somebody that worth so much money, and then the thing he had to go through just to build that
mm.
refinery, it proves to us the cartel in Nigeria, the elites, they were put there to make sure Nigeria did not build their own oil refinery.
But
So
Tinubu
Nigeria
that
oil
you see
refinery
now,
had to be
Tinubu. Listen, yeah.
hold on. Nigeria
Mm,
refinery had to be privatized. Nigeria should have had their own refinery by state owned. They had the
mm,
capacity. They had the finance. It was just the people that controlled that country. They was put there in power not to build the oil refinery. Because
mm,
the Westerners did not want to see that. That's all it is. That's what it
mm,
is. So then at least it took Dangote this far, and then he proved that he could do it. And you see now, right? So that's why I said we need more of people like that, people that have access to money, so at least they could gamble in a way that they could be amazed at the result. Now Dangote wants to expand. You see how he was trying to work with Kenya, but I think Kenya backstabbed him. But most likely in Tanzania, that deal is going to go through. Eventually, the next couple of years, we're going to see more Dangote oil refinery in other countries. But I want African countries, especially state-owned oil refinery, because it's very important for your energy sector to be owned by the state. Because we have so much energy in Africa, man. We have so much energy from gas to oil. Man, it is ridiculous to like a uranium. Africa should never have an energy problem. Should never have an energy problem. I don't care what nobody says. Africa was built not to have an energy problem. If you want like whatever it is, blue energy, all these stupid labels, Africa has it. So Nigeria was built. Nigeria elites did not want to build the oil refinery. They did that on purpose. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the Dangote refinery. You remember it was to do the previous president who passed away, Buhari. He's the one that is behind most of this. It's him and Dangote that got together and got this thing done. But when the current leader come in, this guy called Tinubu, he wanted to because remember, right now most of the refinery, the oil is coming from foreign countries to Nigeria to be refined, while Nigeria got crude oil. Can you imagine that? You see, so the reality is the African leaders, they're the problem. He is actually allowing companies to come in and take oil from the oil well and go to refine it and bring it back to Nigeria to sell to them, while Dangote, his refinery, were sitting empty, not enough oil in his refinery after he finished building it. And while he chose to build a refinery right in Nigeria, right there, he did what the government failed to do.
But that just tells you how
crazy.
you know how. But it's.
He's a cartel himself.
No. I want to just put the blame solely on. Let's be honest with ourselves. On Tinubu, because Tinubu is the part of the cartel in Nigeria. You understand me, right? Just like how the United States government could go capture another president in his own country because of their oil. So imagine the oil cartel. It's a very, very serious business, man. I'm telling you, it is one of the most deadliest business.
The metal, the steel industry and the oil industry.
Exactly. So to me, man, I wouldn't just blame Tinubu because this is a generation thing. This is a generation thing. It's a generation thing. They all benefit off not Nigeria having their own oil refinery because they chose not to build it. Just like how Nigeria had a steel plant. Imagine how important steel is. They scrap all that. Can you imagine that? A steel plant. The Nigerian government destroyed that. I mean, come on now, because of somebody within the West gave them an order to not continue that steel plant. African leaders take directions from the West. That's just how it is.
Dangote refinery only get 1/3. The refinery only get 1/3 of what he gets from Nigeria. The rest of it is coming from outside. Can you imagine that?
It's gonna take time. I mean, eventually, because I heard the government or some other rich guy is gonna try to build his own refinery as well. Because
Boa.
Yeah. Just like they say, right? Monkey see, monkey do. If I see you doing something great, most likely my belief is gonna be
funny, isn't it?
So
it's funny because Boa and Dangote. Yeah, Boa and Dangote, they never used to like each other. They used to be the worst enemies, and now they're working together. It's really good to see that.
So to me, since everybody
that's Rabiu,
has witnessed it.
Is that Rabiu, isn't it? Rabiu, his name, yeah.
Yeah, since
he's now the second. Yeah, he's now the second richest man in Africa after Dangote, and they both from Kano.
Since now everybody have witnessed it, right? Have seen it. So now they're gonna we're gonna build our own. Because now we got the blueprint. The blueprint now is Dangote. But
and
by the way, Niger, they just discovered another oil as well last week.
No, but Niger oil is sweet because most of the oil there is easy to operate. It's easy to get off the ground.
Yeah, they just discover another oil.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like to me, energy should never be a problem in Africa. I do not care. Energy should never be the problem in Africa. But at the end of the day, for you to control the world, you have to control energy. So if energy is tremendous in Africa, you want to control the world, you're not going to allow Africans to explore the energy for their own good. No, you're going to sabotage it. But then you're going to do it in a way that you're not the person sabotaging it. You're going to do it in a way that as if it's the government that's actually sabotaging it. But you're the one making sure these people that are in power to make sure they're sabotaging it. So because you want the citizens not to blame you, but to blame the government. But then now when you try to replace that government and put somebody else that's going to fix the problem when it comes to energy, then you come in now and try to unalive that individual. When you unalive that person, then you put somebody else that's not going to do it. Because your ideology is to control the world. You don't want no competition. So that's why, and then this been going on. This is a recycle that's been going in Africa, man. Over and again, like blanking. But once you're an individual that wants to say, okay, well, my country, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna develop our country. Be very, very careful. If you don't protect yourself by gun, I do not care. The very first thing you gotta do, protect yourself by gun. Forget about that democracy thing. I do not care. Me, man, if I'm gonna develop my country, the very first thing I'm gonna do first, because I know for sure I'm a radical man in a very good way. I'm gonna protect myself by gun. Because if you don't protect yourself by gun, these people from your own, from your own country, at least from your own country, they're gonna be the first one trying to take you out. So if you protect yourself by them people, then the outsider force comes in now because they are more powerful by, but at the end of the day, the very first thing, you got to protect yourself by gun. Forget about all that fancy words in democracy. I do not care because if my ideology is to better my country, forget that. The very first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to protect myself by gun. I'm going to put myself with people that have guns. When you see me, you're going to see guns. What's that going to tell you? Don't try me. I'm serious. Don't try me. Because if your ideology is to better your people, the West is going to take you out.
Yeah.
You see what's going on with these countries. That's just how, to me, that's just how it works, man. So to me, I've come to understanding that's how the world operates, man. So that if you have a good heart, you want to fix your own country, by your people and for your people, be prepared for that war. Be prepared for that war. A lot of men, a lot of women are not built for that. A lot of men and women are not built for that. Nothing wrong with that. It's just that some people are not built for that. You understand me? Right, go. Let me shut up, man. Oh man, he ended the show. Man, St. James.
No.
You go ahead.
Yeah. I was in a show before. Yeah, this guy, he worked for the U.S. government. He was saying about this. Yeah, he was saying the same thing. He said people don't understand, if you're trying to eat off America plate, they'll come and smash it and they'll take it and they'll go with it. Because the reality is they're not going to allow you to build to compete with them. That's the reason why it's always important to build it. Yeah, it's always important to build your own defense first. Then you obviously build what is there to be protected. That's only unless you're really strategic. Unless if you're really strategic, you know how to use your leverage properly while you're doing it. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time, man.
No, of course, because you know why? Africa, it's a teamwork. It is a teamwork. It's not just individual work. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna need people that's gonna have the same belief as you. These people are very
important. me, I don't. Even though I don't believe in
this.
Yeah, even though I don't believe
in. Go ahead.
No. Even though I don't believe in violence, I believe in doing everything peacefully and being strategic. I believe that you got to do everything you can to also defend your people and defend what you have as a nation, and that's just the reality. So we will see, but I think Africa is about to enter a new dawn, and I think the people that we think are actually bad. One day we're gonna, if not careful, we're gonna see this as a good one because there's more evil powers popping up who are actually gonna be more evil than the one that we're currently seeing. That is my biggest problem. And yeah, so yeah, honestly, I've been real with you. Unless we say you have to know how to side with the people who have who actually have your interest. Who actually definitely desperately in need of what you got, so they can help you protect it while you can protect yourself. Or we actually embarked on look, most of these countries that you see today, they have what they call national army service. Kids enter the military at a certain age. They learn how to be a builder, plumber, build roads. This is how most of these countries develop, like China and other countries. That's the system. Until I see African leaders doing that, trust me, we're just going to be slaves now. We're just going to be wasting our time. There's one thing that is working though, I must admit. And I used to think we're just coming here online talking rubbish, nothing is happening. But all this Pan African mindset, all this Pan African wave, is actually catching a lot of these Western leaders and is affecting their foreign policies in Africa. I can see that. If you look at what Macron was saying and his body language and everything that they're trying to do in Africa in the last few years, you can see we're not been coming online talking for no reason. It's actually working because he's actually affecting. I can hear some of our even politicians are talking about being Pan African nowadays, and these are things I never used to hear before. For the last 20 years, like since the death of Thomas Sankara and Patrice Lumumba and so on, you don't hear African leaders talking about Pan Africanism. But recently, that's all they talk about, Pan African.
That's why Africa. Any president nowadays in Africa, if you don't want to at least give the people some type of leverage, you're gonna be in trouble. I'm telling you the truth. You're gonna be in trouble. Any president nowadays in Africa, right? If you want to give the citizens some type of comfortable leverage, you're gonna be in trouble. I'm serious because let me tell you, Africa has the youngest population, right? These young populations, what do they have nowadays? Smartphones. So you can't hide a lot of things against
I used to.
It's not
honestly,
like
I used to think we're just. Sorry, but I used.
No. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, because I know
No, you go on.
Go ahead. It's not
I used to
like
think we're
it's not
just
like
wasting
about
our time.
It's
So
not
you
like
go on. When you
it's not
finish,
like
I'll come.
yeah, it's not like about 15 years ago. Because remember, 15 years ago, right? Let's just say the people let's just say if you were like in your 40s, right? Your early 40s, right? Or your late 30s, right? Your mindset is different because you didn't have access to phone and technology and to like communicate with different people, right? And then giving your thoughts so then they could actually tell you what's really going on. We didn't have such a thing. We didn't have it at all. So the information out there wasn't out there the way it's supposed to be. So these young people nowadays in their 20s, right? Let's just say the young people that are in the early 20s, they already had cell phones in their hand 5 years ago. To a certain extent, almost every African countries had a smartphone 5 years ago, communicate, or 6 years ago, right? Already had these things. And already could communicate into a lot of things like, Facebook and all these things, right? YouTube. So the information out there for the last 6 years now has expanded massively. So you're looking at people in their 20s in that way for the past 5 years, or somebody that was 15 years old, now in the early 20s, all they did was, get the information on smartphones, communicate as well. So they're more alert what's really going on. So it's much more difficult for you to fool these people. Because now they can just grab a phone and look at all these countries and be like, oh wow. You understand me, right? But then somebody that was in their 40s, 15 years ago, they didn't grow up with such a thing. They grew up on turning the radio, sit there, listen to BBC, listen to CNN, what the fuck they tell them. And then that's it.
like my old
I'm
pop used to
serious.
sit there with his little. I remember my old pop used to sit there with his little radio station, this analog one, listen to BBC. Can you imagine how
Yeah,
they've
my
been
father too.
brainwashing our elders? Huh?
That's
Can you imagine how many years
exactly.
they've been brainwashing our elders, to believe whatever
This is
they've been
why.
selling on there?
This is
And
why I
these
keep
people
telling
are good.
any African
These people
leader.
are good at.
This is why I keep.
Yeah, 1 second.
This is why I keep telling any African leader, if you gonna get in position of authority, do something enough. Even if you're not a revolution president, but give the citizens something enough. If you don't, eventually something's gonna come after you. I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, to be honest,
Because
with you, if
these
you
young
look at it,
kids are gonna be in their 30s the next 5 years, the next 10 years.
is that 1 in 4,
I'm
one
just
in
saying.
four in the world, 1 in 4 in the world is gonna be black in the next 30 years or something. The black population is gonna take over the
Next
world,
50 years.
and exactly, and majority of this population, it seems like they're coming from our people, our race of the Niger Congo branch, because we're the one that's more out there in the continent, right? And we haven't even spread out to the world enough yet. So this is something that's happening. It's a big phenomenon, and they don't know how to deal with it because they don't want, how they like the racism. But to be honest, with you, I think the old politicians have actually let us down. They the one that
Come on,
got us
man.
in
That's
this situation.
you know, man. That's facts. That's facts. That's why. That's
Yeah.
why. That's why I keep mentioning things. If you're gonna
Mm.
get in politics, in a position of power, don't just sit there and behave as if. Give the people something enough. Because the next 10 to
Yeah.
15 years, there's gonna be a
Mm.
drama for you. I'm serious.
Mm.
Because you can't fool these people no more. Man, we talking on a freaking TikTok. I mean, not TikTok, YouTube Live.
Mm.
Nowadays, you got some guys in Sierra Leone doing farming. They film it and put it on TikTok.
Yeah. Do you know most of
There's
the
a guy,
do you
right?
know
There's a guy.
most of the rice
There's a guy
consuming.
in Kenya. Not Kenya. McKinney. This guy always goes to his farm and films it and put it on TikTok. He made a presentation.
Yeah.
He said, "Guys, man, I need $50,000 to buy a tractor, and so then I could expand on my farm." Do you know how many comments he had? Do you know how many views he had? So imagine this guy is in Kenema, in the villages as well, doing his agriculture, posting it on social media. Now he's getting so much views, and then he requests for 50,000.
Mm.
So what I'm trying to say is how information, what people see, is completely different now.
No,
Their
but
access to
you see,
information is completely
mm,
different now. That's why I keep
mm,
saying, if you're going to be in
mm,
position of power the next 10 to 15 years, be very, very
mm.
careful, because of what? Information is out there without you not controlling no more.
No, honestly, you're right. The younger population, this Gen Z in Africa, they don't have the same mindset as we have. They're ready to fight. They had enough. You can tell their mindset is not the same. And a lot of them are like they're studying, they're going to universities, they're not just learning trades, and they're exposed to the internet. So the reality is, our leaders, if they don't wake up, trust me, and I think that's why you know um, education is a key for the entire region. And sometimes when people talk about like areas like northern Nigeria, that's why I don't really have a lot of backlash with them, because Nigeria have one of the highest uneducated group, especially in the north. I think that area there, they need to invest heavily in education and spread out throughout the Sahel. So, because this is where the population is growing. This is where the population is growing. And we need to invest a lot. When I say a lot in education, we need to. Because if that's not done now, these youth, they're going to kick off. What they see in the 8 years now in the Sahel, they haven't seen anything yet. Because these kids will actually um, basically take over power. And I think it will be long time military rule in Africa for a long time, bro.
This is what I keep saying. Exactly.
Mm.
Now imagine if these three guys survives for and then fulfill, let's just say, the next 5 years, right? When you seen infrastructures, how can you lie to another young man that, another young woman, her entire 10 years of life has been on the phone, social media, looking at things. How can you persuade them? How can you lie to them? You understand me, right? How can you say this is false and this and that when they seen it physically for the past 10 years now? Just like how you just mentioned it. Just like how you just
Yeah, I
mentioned it.
mean, yeah, it's just sick. And listen, its time is coming up. Most of their money cannot be hidden. They will have nowhere to run with their money. I guarantee you, because there are a lot of legislation that they're passing right now throughout the world. A lot of these corrupt leaders, maybe with the exception of Switzerland, maybe some of the Commonwealth countries, they will not be able to go there and actually hide their money anymore and their wealth, because a lot of these countries are feeling like you are coming here begging for, you know, um, for gift aid or aid towards your country, but then at the same time you're looting your country while you're buying houses and stuff like that. Because if you look at the guy in Congo, for example, like the amount of money that they have, there was a president from, I forgot the name. Is it Central African Republic or Equatorial Guinea? His son went to America on during that Biden conference, right? My man went there to go and collect money, but he went and stayed in the most expensive hotels, went out shopping, buying like £1 million cars and what. How can he do that? It's like you're actually going to beg for money, but you're actually going out there spending more money than you get, and then you turn around and say you ain't got no money. It's actually crazy, man. Africa is like we need to just wake up. We need to wake up and educate our group of people. And as I always say to you, energy. You're right. That's one thing I agree with you. Energy. Look at this region that we come from. Like within the border between Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Liberia. Do you know the amount of canal we can actually make build there and supply the entire region energy? Just building dams and dams and dams and dams. We can build so many dams and trade routes because these are all rivers that crisscross. Sierra Leone, for example, can supply the
And
entire
beside
the
even
Mano
that,
River.
right?
No, one second. Let me finish. Let me finish, bro. The Mano
Yeah, go
River
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Union alone, the Mano River Union alone can supply the entire West Africa fresh, clean water and electricity, clean energy. I mean, clean energy. We can do it. We have the rivers. We have
Yeah, but
the everything that it takes to do it. Honestly, bro, we can do it, but it's just the wheel that's not there, bro.
yeah, oh yeah, 100%. And then also, right? Let me add this,
Mm,
right? What you just said, right?
mm.
Beside the river, right? The river won't get dry. Why? Because we get at least 5 to 6 months of rain. You understand me, right?
Yeah,
So at
sure.
least we get at least solid 4 to 5, at least the lowest 4 months of rain. But then when that rain comes, it's a massive rain. So the rivers will never be empty. These people know what we have. They don't want us to use what we have to get ourselves in the world, the position that we deserve to be in this world. That's all it is. Because if
Mm,
we have all these things, if we put it in place, who the hell are them to come tell us what to do?
mm.
Think about it now. Who the hell are they to come tell us what to do now? That's the problem. People have to
Uh,
understand these things. You going against this entity that's very powerful. They don't want you to use God-given ability, God-given nature to benefit your people. They will do anything to stop you. Anything.
mm.
Anything to stop you. Because to them, if you do use what God gives you, they'll be much more behind. They don't want to be behind. So for them to to be in front of you, they must create all type of division, all type of weapons, and use it against you.
Mm.
And then come and take your resource and then develop their own country. I mean, it's simple as this. You see France. Why the hell the president is still talking about these three countries then? If France is so powerful, and those three countries are still poor, but what they keep saying, leave the F alone. But Macron and his people cannot leave these three countries alone. Because they know what this country have and what they don't have naturally. They know it. That's why they don't want to leave this country alone. So you must take your power away from these people. It's not just going to be diplomatic and be nice. No, there's going to be a physical war against these people. They're going to use people against you to turn against you so that they can unalive you. So you must use that weapon to unalive these people that want to work for them. Because for you to create something amazing, you must go through hell. You understand me, right? Because these French knows exactly what this country could be. They know it. But France need these countries for them to be in power.
Africa cannot
For them to be
be allowed to
respectful.
be Africa cannot be allowed to be industrialized easily, and that's not just from France. That's that's something like a lot of countries be surprised don't want to happen. It's because that's where they got the natural resources from. But there's a way to deal with that. From if Africa was to unite, which I don't think will ever happen, and they obviously made sure that doesn't happen by partition, and also allowing certain groups, okay, to move in the continent and settle from the north to the south, to make sure that doesn't happen. They can sabotage that anyway, anyhow. You know, it's difficult because, right, they could actually use their own tools that they have in place to make sure that doesn't happen, right? So what can we do? They have to form cartels. And if we don't form cartels, it's going to be difficult. Like to say, cobalt, all the countries in the world who actually have the cobalt to unite, like what you call OPEC, they say, right, we can dictate on the trades, the price, and everything that goes on with this thing, and make sure we have strong arms to back that. To say, look, we the people who selling lithium, this is what we decide to do. This is where we're going to decide to manufacture them. This is what we're going to decide to sell them. This is where we're going to create the jobs. Whether we work with some multinational corporations, with some governments that have their interest in there as a backing, you know, or we actually just do it as a governmental level to say, well, if certain region in the world who are more interested in the third generation of industrialization are happy to work with us that way, we could do it this way. Forget about this aid business because the longer they carry on taking aid from the West, or any country, I will never get respect from them. You cannot be a beggar and expect to get respect, man. You cannot keep being a beggar. At the same time, these people are robbing you anyway. You didn't need to beg them because the thing that they're taking from you is more valuable than that piece of paper that they're giving to you. And most of the time, they're not giving you money anyway. They're sending their companies and their staffs. Look, for example, the deal that the Nigeria came to get with in the UK, okay, to build a port. The Prime Minister said, I can't blame the UK for that. It's a strategic thing they're doing. Everybody's trying to gain something. He said, we're going to help you out to build a port, but you're going to have to buy all the steels from us. Okay? And that was it. You have to agree to it because we're giving you the money. If Nigeria was the country that actually got that money themselves, they would decide where to buy that
No,
steel
no,
from,
no,
right?
no, 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 no.
No, but
Africa. Obviously, no. Hold on. I understand what you're saying. I completely understand what you're saying, right? So obviously, common sense, somebody that what I'm saying, like their parties come first for their people, right? You understand me, right?
exactly.
It's not gonna
That's my point.
agree to a deal like that. But that deal is because of it's only agreed to it because of Tinubu works for them. That's why it is.
That's my point.
Because
But that's my
obviously,
point.
this
I
is
don't
what
know
they're
why you're
gonna
trying to
do.
go around it.
This, yeah, I got you. No, understand. But the way you try to put it is, yeah, but you're right. 100%. You're right. Because look at the deal, right? Using the steel from these people, right? So then they're going to use their workers as well. And then after that, they're using their own materials that you're going to buy from them. They're going to sell it to you expensive, and then they're going to charge you more for labor, everything much more expensive, right? And then on top of that, the port is going to be owned by them. You understand me, right? And then the port is going to be governed by them as well. So
I
you
don't know if
understand
it's
me,
gonna
right?
be owned
So
by them,
technically,
but
no,
I don't know if it's gonna
in
be
a
owned by
sense,
them.
but in like in a sense, it's definitely gonna be, let's say you got to pay them 30 years to pay off the thing and stuff like that. It's just a trap just to put the country in the debt. Or you can own the port as well. So you understand me, right? And then but you're gonna have your own people that's gonna be in charge of the port as well, because when stuff comes in, you're gonna be charged of, there's a lot of things. It's just a leverage way of making sure you control the country. That's all it is. It's just a leverage of you dictating what's going to happen within that country. But if you have a sober president, just like you mentioned, it's not going to agree to a silly deal like that, man. Because Nigeria could build their own port, in my view. You get the you get the most smart Nigerians. You finance them, they could build it for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I
For sure,
mean,
man. They could build
most.
it.
Yeah,
Everything
that's
comes
what
back
I'm
to the
trying to
leader,
say to you. Yeah, and this is it. That's the bottom
because
line.
they're gonna do because at the end of the day, just like you mentioned, they're gonna do what's benefit them.
Yeah,
I'm talking about the outsiders. Man, they're gonna
yeah,
do as much as what's benefit them.
yeah. That's it. Everybody will do that. That's how the world works. This is just the fact of capitalism. All the countries in the world, that's how they operate, because they don't look, they're not dealing. This is not a charity case to say, oh, just because you know um you're nice people, we like you, we're just gonna do it for free. No, it's all about their interest and their money, and this is how it's also the corporations also, because remember the UK steel industry, it needs to be vitalized, and if they're gonna make profit, they want to make sure the steel industry is making a profit, and they want to expand. But where are they getting most of the steel from? Look at Sierra Leone alone. Do you know Sierra Leone sits on the largest deposit of iron ore in the whole of Africa? You know that?
Man, when you bring up
Are you,
our country, man,
are you listening?
I get
Did
sick,
you
man.
hear that? Sierra Leone sits on
Yeah.
okay.
No,
Sierra Leone
no,
sits
no. I heard it.
on
I
the
heard it. I
largest
heard it.
deposit of
When
iron
you
ore in Africa. They said it's a Guinea. Guinea just
when you
got the
bring up
best quality. Listen, Guinea just got the best quality of aluminium, which is easy to deal with. But Guinea doesn't have a larger deposit of aluminium than Sierra Leone. People don't understand that.
when you bring
And
up
the beach that you swim,
when you bring up
hmm.
stuff
And the beach. Let me just finish, Bang. Let me
when
finish.
you bring up
The beach that you swim. Can you hear me, Bang?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. The beach that you see called River Number Two. Okay, that beach that you see called River Number Two is the platinum. It's one of the platinum reserve in West Africa. That beautiful beach that people go and swim on. It's one of the biggest. What is one of the? It's a platinum. If you if you go there, if you don't understand what a platinum is, you see it. And Sierra Leone is the biggest rutile exporter in Africa, or partly in the world. So it's like people don't understand these things. All we need is the technology to refine these things properly and sell it to the world. But we've been used. We've been used by these corporations, and years after years. In fact, there was a guy who was a minister who from one of the Sierra Leone minister, the minister for mineral resources and mines in Sierra Leone. He was speaking because at the moment he's the one that's chairing all the diamond cartels in the world. Basically, he's trying to get even the South Africans to come in, but all the diamond mining countries in the world. They was in Sierra Leone last week. They had a long conference over there, and they was talking about the how to to basically dictate on a lot of the things that going on about the mineral resources in Africa. Because this Pan African thing is actually holding waters, bro. Is that you, Baron?
Man, yeah.
Mm. So
Can you
is
hear me?
is actually saying, yeah, I can hear you, but you just make a lot of noises. He was just saying how the mineral resources in Africa, have been abused, and they're forming a new alliance. So, it's like what is going on in the Sahel. People might not understand this. It is actually what is actually playing in a lot of African leaders' head because they're seeing it. They're thinking these guys. We might not like them because they're military officers, but what they're doing, their ideas, is actually working. Is actually right. That we should stand up to these countries.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. I was just
My bad,
speaking.
man. I was in and out, with the car. But I heard everything you were saying, man. Everything,
Mm,
man, everything you were saying, I heard it. But end of the day, no matter what we say or do, if we don't have the leader to have that belief mindset,
mm.
like you know what I'm saying, like none of these things cannot come to reality. Everything
No,
comes
it's
back
true.
to the leaders. Everything comes back to the leaders. Everything in
Yeah.
this world, man. The leaders set the agenda, and then everybody else just spread their wings, so then the country could fly.
Mm,
But these people are not gonna let us go for free. I am telling you, are not gonna let us go for free because you know why? It is their
mm,
future they're fighting for. Their kids' future, kids. You understand me, right? Just like how Donald Trump, right? Because to me, Donald Trump is really what America is. When you actually, you know, study America, right? Donald Trump is an immigrant that came here on what I think third generations or fourth generation, or whatever it is, right? Look how he slowly reduced the power. Donald Trump gave the Republicans, the white people, let's just say white people, right? Gave them what? 3 Supreme Court leaders. Before he came to power, right? There was one Supreme Court leader that died, right? Under Obama. Obama had a year before he could leave, right? The Republicans completely blocked Obama from nominating that person, right? As soon as Donald Trump came to power, he automatically chose a Supreme Court leader. And then one of the Supreme Court leader as well retired as well, a Republican. Donald Trump quickly named that person. And then another one died. It was a Democrat. Donald Trump had like what? I think a year remaining. Donald Trump forced that Supreme Court leader. So he gave them 3 that's going to protect the white power structure, right? For their kids. And then what happened next after that? The so-called birth control thing law passes, right? Who does it benefits? It benefits the white structure because the white people population are dying. So think about it now. So as soon as they got hold of the Supreme Court, what bill did they pass? The birth control bill. Because you know why? They needed their population to expand. So it is a must. So you see now, right? Joe Biden comes then in power, right? And everything. He did his other white people thing, right? Try to invade Ukraine as well, making sure, the energy, the resource was going back to America, right? He signed a deal with Angola to build a train all the way
the
to
Labito
Congo.
corridor,
Yeah,
Labito
exactly. To
corridor.
bring the resource
Do
in.
you,
You
man,
understand me,
do you
right?
know this is
Now check
how
this out. I
American?
got you. One
Yeah.
second. I got you.
Mm,
Because
mm.
I gotta step in and do some other stuff real quick. But St. James, man, I want to ask you a question before we do leave. But anyway, let me get to this Donald Trump thing, right? Donald Trump came back to power, right? What did he attack next? The Bill of Rights. He removed the so-called Bill of Right power. Now in the South of America, all these states, Florida, Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Texas, Georgia, You understand me, right? Kansas, all these states. Now the white people they could realign the country as well. So the black people that had some type of control within their states, they managed the power. They cut the line. So half of the votes went straight to the white people. So then it weakened the power of the black people. So less representative in Congress, less representative in the Senate, less representatives in the local government as well, less representative in the state as well. You understand me, right? Now, if somebody did all these moves, right, what are they empowering? Their future whiteness in the future. With the next 10 to 20 years, they want to make sure their people are in power, are in control. Their people are in authority. You understand me, right? This is what black people don't understand. Instead, we get stuck on religion. We need to work with religion, how to empower our people. No, everything I'm telling you is facts. Everything I'm telling you. As soon as they got hold of the Supreme Court, what was their attack? Birth control. Why? Make sure our females are making babies. If you do want to, have abortion, you could go to jail for like 5 or 10 years. In Texas, majority of this South, of the states in the South, they have that in bill. Boom. So you understand me, right? All these other little things. So people, I don't know, man. People don't think. Now you see how the Bill of Rights.
Do you think that's why they got
it was just no. These people, they have a system that they use. Their system is supposed to benefit them. They don't care about nothing else but power and control.
Do you think that's why they actually got Ebola out there again? Because Ebola is back in Liberia. I was gonna ask Elvis this before he step out. Elvis, if you're listening, come up. Ebola is back.
They trying to do it against the
Did you hear that?
Babaliko was trying to join the live. Dennis is not here.
Dennis,
no,
Dennis, if you're there, can you let us?
The life ended a long time ago.
Yeah. No, it's not ended. It's not ended. It's live. No, it's not. It's live. It's live. It's live. It's not ended. It's not. It's not ended. It's live, bro.
You sure?
Yeah, it's 100% live.
Hold on. Let me double check.
Yeah. St. James, have you heard about that? Ebola is back in West Africa.
Oh, I heard about it, but I thought it was in Congo. In the Congo, is that in Liberia?
I heard it's in Liberia, man.
Oh, really? That's not good.
So, you're definitely right, man. The life is still there.
All these people, it's funny what they're trying to do. They're trying to reduce. Listen, I'm guarantee you, they're trying to reduce our population, bro.
Right.
They are trying because in Sierra Leone, remember, Ebola is 90%. If you catch it, you're 90% chance you're gonna die. And bang, you know how that affected our economy. Sierra Leone was the fastest growing economy in Africa when Ebola hit. Fastest growing. Just after the war.
Yeah, I mean, that's just because they know COVID can't really do nothing against us. So now they want to bring back Ebola because Ebola was so effective.
Oh yeah, it was 90% chance of gonna die.
Yeah. It's a system, man. Everything that these people do is a system of empower them, and I can't blame them for that.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna ask Elvis because remember I was talking about this.
That's the wrong person. Man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Ask somebody men about Africa, man. Elvis just come in just to talk about Africa. He don't care about Africa.
Nah, he doesn't. This is the problem.
He doesn't care about Africa, man. Elvis will allow the white man to run Africa for another 2,000 years.
That's what St. James said.
He will never mind. I'm serious, man. He will never mind.
He said, which part of Guinea is the one is Liberia? My man is like,
was very. I heard when he came in. Man,
that one is like, about to take it from him.
Yeah. I was listening back, man. I said, man, St. James, I like how he checked them on that democracy thing.
But do you know why? Do you know why Liberian people have problem Burkina? It's because Burkina boy when they assault them out during the war. You know, Burkina boys went in there hard. You remember that, but they still haven't recovered from it though. Liberia is still on the high. Liberia is the poorest country in West Africa today. It's the most underdeveloped.
And then somebody like
You
him,
know,
and then somebody like him right here wants to come and praise the France.
Burkina Faso is better than Liberia on all levels. Listen, they're my neighbors. I know they're better than Liberia on all levels, man. Right now, you can't even compare them. Even though Burkina is at war. In fact, Sierra Leone that you see, the Sierra Leone we just finished war, but we got one of the best road networks in West Africa. You know, from when you enter Sierra Leone from the Guinea and Liberia border, from when you get into our border all the way to the capital city, you get clean, smooth roads. You don't find that in any of the other countries. If you enter into Guinea, you know, if you leave Sierra Leone border, as soon as you get into Guinea, bro, it's all bad roads. Same with Liberia. Until you get near the city, that's it. And you can't trade like that. You can't do business in those environments. You know.
Oh, so
It's
you're about to
sad.
take Liberia very soon, huh? Or you're gonna let Ebola take care of it first.
Guinea probably gonna take care of them before Ebola come there.
Oh, okay. Now,
That's what we need to do.
back, right?
He's scared of everything like the Sahel because he's scared of the Sahel. You know what they can do, innit?
Yeah. The other day he said we haven't done anything. I'm like, why you speak like that? It's like, nah, man.
You see, the thing is, they don't understand. Most of the people you find in the Sahel, most of the people you find in Sierra Leone, in Guinea, in Liberia, basically from Sierra Leone to Guinea to Senegal, the people you find in northern Burkina Faso, in northern Ghana, Mali, these are all one people, man. The same people. Same. People forget that. Even some part in Ivory Coast as well, they are the same people.
Right.
Just because they're in the coast, it doesn't mean anything. People travel around and live around the communities and intermarriages for years. You get me?
Right.
You can't claim to be more civilized than them because at the end of the day, you know, you can't get more nice countries than Senegal and Ivory Coast. These are people who from the Sahel that went there and settled and built those countries. That make no sense.
Right. Okay. But you haven't. Have you touched on what would you like Sonko to do next? What do you think? Bang, and what do you think?
For me, I think they should fix it. I think they should work together, and I think that is a good alliance that they had. I think it would be a shame for them to fall out because when two leaders fall out, it's not good for a country, right? You know, because it's not gonna good. Because what's gonna happen now? Instead of them focusing on governing the people, they're gonna focus on fighting on each other's differences, and that's not good for development.
Right.
You know, that's my main problem, and
Do you
it's my
think that-
worry because.
Yeah. Do you think they can mend the relationship? I thought they could have. For me, right, based on the level of how they are very, united, right? For me, I thought if they were to disagree, they would have done that outside of the public view. You see what I'm saying? They would have done that. I didn't know it was going to be like a public falling out, and I never believed that. I never thought of it in this manner. I thought they was going to have like a meeting, and Sonko would then step down and peacefully, and that's what I thought. I didn't know it was going to be like that, bro.
No, it is out the play now, isn't it? And that's sad because the Senegalese youth they had so much expectation from those two guys, right?
Absolutely.
When they was coming up. It was the biggest.
My bad, man. I had to fix my I don't know what's wrong with my iPhone.
That's right. Yeah,
It
that's
is
fine. We'll
disappointing for
But
both. It is disappointing for
yeah,
both on both sides.
yeah, but
No
yeah,
but
it's
side
so
is
sad.
winning. No side is winning.
Mm.
The
Yeah,
yeah,
people.
but
no.
You
Yeah, but wait,
St.
we're talking.
James. Oh,
know.
go ahead.
Yeah,
My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah,
no,
I'm
no,
just
it's
saying.
cool.
Yeah, no side is winning. Like you said, the people really went out of their way to put them in power. And what? Less than 2 years, right? Less than 2 years.
Yeah,
It's not a good look for both of them.
no,
Yeah.
not at
So
all.
uh,
Not good, man. Because
whatever
now
they
people.
decide, yeah,
Mm,
whatever they decide, they should really think about the people. You know
yeah,
what the people would like to see before 2029.
yeah,
And see if they can leverage the rest, right? You know,
yeah, mm,
for Senegal. I mean,
yeah,
we want Senegal to win, man. We want them to be united. We really, I'm
yes,
still, I'm still hopeful for the two of them. I'm
yes,
still hopeful. I hope they fix it. I hope they fix it.
yes. I mean, Senegal is always been brotherly country, isn't it? And when I went there, you meet so many different nationalities, and if you go to their circle, sometimes I meet people from Niger Republic in their restaurants. You meet Sierra Leoneans. I met even a guy is a Jola guy from Burkina Faso. Like I met him there once, and he's the one that used to tell me about the military in Burkina Faso because he knows about the army. He used to serve them, but he's an old guy, and they have like a tight knit circle about them Senegalese. It don't matter where you come from as a West African. When you're around them, you don't feel like you're out of space. They're good people. I like their spirit.
Oh
Mm,
yeah.
I like their spirit.
Yeah.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
They're like Sierra Leoneans. Sierra Leonean people are as well like we are like that. If you around us, regardless from where you are, you feel like it will make you feel welcome. In fact, Sierra Leone we like strangers than we like ourselves. That's our own problem sometimes.
Right.
Especially when it comes to other when it comes to other Africans.
Mhm.
Mm,
That's nice.
definitely.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Mhm.
But some like I think Liberia was a little bit different though, isn't it? Liberia was always been inwards. But I think that's because um the Liberia was they was quite restrictive towards outsiders. But in all fairness, if you're from Sierra Leone and Guinea or Ivory Coast, like between the Mano River Union, you're Liberia, you always feel good anyway. You don't have problems. But I think Liberia need to fix themselves, man. That country need to build their roads and the infrastructure. Need to catch up
Have you
since the
heard about
world is just
Africa?
like
Have you
Iraq.
heard about African?
Afghanistan?
Mm-hmm.
No, no. What
No.
happened?
Let me add my
Okay.
thoughts into let's not let's not go to that
Be nice.
direction, man. Yeah, let's not go to that direction, man. But at least, no, honestly speaking,
Uh, uh,
Afghanistan is a good idea. I
okay.
believe it's a good idea, but it depends on
Right, yeah.
people. It depends on people that lives in America to buy that idea, because at the end of the day, it's a good agenda for African countries, you know, for the whole continent. But in Senegal, right, this
Okay.
is my view of it,
Yeah.
right? To
Mm-hmm.
me, there's no going back. These people are separated. They separated because look at it, right? Some people, right, when they do get into power, how do they see themselves now? Think about it now. It's just like if somebody offer you $10 million, right? You could just spend it how you feel
Mm.
like. Are you gonna buy your dream car? Are you gonna stick to a normal car? Are you gonna buy your dream house? Are you just gonna sit into a normal house? You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna buy a decent house? Are you gonna buy a mansion? To some people, they're gonna do something to please the ego. It's the same thing when somebody has never held a position of power, Diomaye Faye, and then all of a sudden he becomes a president. Now imagine you're the president of Senegal. How many people want your attention? How many people want you to just say yes to them? Family members, this and that. You know, elder people that's like 20 years older than you, calling you sir. 30 years older than you, calling you sir. You understand me, right? Then you go to these foreign countries, they start treating you real nice. You know, giving you this expensive bags for your wives. You know, giving you this expensive suits, clothes for your wives, family members as well. They could just go to a fancy restaurants, eat, and it's free. Think about it now. So how are you going to compose yourself? Are you going to be the same person, or are you going to be changed because of the fanciness of life have completely changed? The authority.
Hey, guys, we gotta close out. My bad. Let me read these super chats. Baba Liko 9354, thank you for $5 holla. Faye's weak. You need to remember who put him there. Sonko for president. I am Senegal. Faye is a little toy for Macron. Baba Liko, my bad, Baba Liko. Next time, bro, but we gotta close out. Sonko have to watch has back now because Faye and Macron will try something. Faye presidency is Sonko. Sonko will be president soon. Baba Liko, my bad again, Baba Liko. Drop the link. Let me do it. Fine. Hey, we'll do a part 2 tomorrow. Everyone, thanks so much for joining. Like, subscribe to Next Time Family. That is
St. James, stay, man.
Love.